neka sudi, pjevat ćemo ljudi. Ne boj se rogova ni lažnih bogova, šta nam mogu lanjski snjegovi. Ne boj se tragova ričućih hlavova, šta će crni oblak planini. Kad zapjevam partija mi sudi, neka sudi, pjevat ćemo ljudi. Ne boj se rogova ni lažnih bogova, šta nam mogu lanjski snjegovi. Ne boj se tragova ričućih hlavova, šta će crni oblak planini. Kad zapjevam partija mi sudi, neka sudi, pjevat ćemo ljudi. Ne boj se rogova ni lažnih bogova, šta nam mogu lanjski snjegovi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to PodroomTV, episode 19. We hope that the microphones are picking up on what we are saying, and whether it is coming through the laptop or it's coming through the camera. Either way, give us a thumbs up if you can hear me currently, because they're not coming through these mics. They are coming through either the computer or through the camera itself. So if we're good, let us know, because mi ne znamo, we can't hear ourselves. Spolge, welcome. I've lost my glasses. I don't know what's going on. The madhouse.
We've gone back to episode 1, 2, 3 with shit doesn't work anymore, and we just try our best. But we do, fingers crossed that you can hear us, and you're out there. Yeah, please let us know. Like you said,
All
give
good.
us a thumbs up.
Dave Likota, we can hear you. Stella, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. But welcome to episode number 19, I believe it is. Here, end of November, approaching. Who thought we'd ever make it this far? I don't know. But anyway, we're here. A massive show lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? I know we've made it as a podcast because we've got the radiant Mariana Rudan on our show. If we can get that caliber of guest on here, we must be doing something right, ladies and gentlemen.
I won't be able to see you, but that's all right. I've got another pair of Charlie, but my new ones, I want to show off my new glasses. Možda slikat sad, but doesn't matter, put the old dodgy ones on.
You're going to go to the chemist and buy about 58 pairs like George does from the band, and he's just got glasses everywhere, on every couch, in the car, whatever.
You know who I need to go and see? I need to go and see Michael Pinu, because he's an optometrist. He's not a dentist, he's an optometrist. So he'll be able to fix me up with a new pair of Specsavers Charlie. But welcome, episode 19. Like Spolch said, we've got Mariana Rudan coming on probably about 7:45. After that, we'll also have a couple of young guests who are probably upstairs at the moment at my joint, Jessica and Christian from Mladi Hrvati, to come and have a chat about their open day in the studio very briefly. And that'll be followed by Alan Tomic, who'll be joining us from all the way from Perth to talk about Team Croatia's success in the local Football West World Cup, where they have made the final after defeating Australia 3-2 in the semi-final. They've made the final, and that will be coming up this weekend, and we'll talk about all things to do with that and their opponent, which is absolutely mouth-watering to say the least. But plenty's been happening, mate. You just got back literally from Adelaide. When did you get back? Last night?
Got back last night, absolutely exhausted. I reckon I was asleep by 8:30 and slept right through to 6:30 without moving a muscle. I'm still exhausted, though. But what a weekend. Absolutely wonderful weekend. I know that before last week. I was going in talking about Festa being one of, if not my favourite Croatian event of the year. It certainly is one of, and he just lived up to it. What an event. They changed things around. It looked absolutely amazing, using the bocce bowl, white picket fences going around, and they had red umbrellas going up above
hanging.
it. Yeah, that was sort of, a nod to those Šestinski.
That's right.
Kišobrani, which is a massive symbol of Zagreb and okolica Zagreba, or in particular Šestine, where they come from. Look beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but it pissed down all day.
But it was also raining tunes. It was raining tunes, and let's have a look at some footage here. Another angle, even though it's in the portrait mode. It looks like the people are loving it. And what you told me, I go, how did you go in Adelaide, mate? And you said you played something like 80 songs.
I think it was more 80 plus.
80 plus songs.
It would have been over 5 hours of music.
So it was first the acoustic version, and then you jumped on stage and
I did 2 massive sets till after 1 o'clock. There, and it was okay. I can't believe I could still talk, to be honest with you. But what an atmosphere. And I think that was good. Like you said, Unplugged is the way to go. Unplugged is great. I think it was great to have both, doing an Unplugged session and going up and doing a rock session, I suppose.
So what are you saying? We need to do another Unplugged session, or what do you think?
I think we have to do another Unplugged session.
PodroomTV Unplugged session.
Yeah, we do. We have to do it for the Narod.
The Narod want it.
The Narod
want it, and they want better acoustics than we had last time.
Yeah, unfortunately, the microphones didn't pick up the sound in here, because in here was absolutely incredible.
My music bowl is what it sounded like in here.
But speaking to a few people, actually, they were out camping, and the group, I forgot what the group was called, they actually donated $1,000.
The Barma crew?
The Barma crew, who donated $1,000 to Marko Samardzic and 500 to us as well. Thank you. They actually told a story about they were camping, and they got together. And I go, oh, look, let's, put on the podcast and we'll just listen. And it just turned into a 7-hour party for them. They had campers coming in from everywhere, joining in the party and drinking and going.
Doing the caller.
Who is this band? What's going on here? What's this? What are we watching? But everyone was having a good time.
I saw Branna yesterday and Beto, 2 of the Barma crew.
That's it.
And both heavily in the doghouse. Heavily in the doghouse. But they're all right. They'll be back.
Well, it was a good weekend if you're in the doghouse.
That's right. And even when you go away for a holiday, you end up in the doghouse. Yeah. But speaking of Marko Samardzic, our friend Marko, I've spoken to him a couple of times since the show. Like I said, he's thanked everybody that donated, reached out, etc., to help him get to Vukovar and bury his stepbrother, and hopefully still to find his father. Marko and his sister Katica were on Bujica this week. So they were on the Bujica show. I watched it on Monday morning. I think it was 6 o'clock our time. So Sunday night, or I think it was Sunday night, Crow time. But he reached out. He did say he was going to mention us and a whole lot of other people. He didn't quite get around to it, but it was a very emotional episode. I was watching it in a workplace. Yes, I was first half hour or so I watched it in the car. Then the second half hour I watched while I was sitting in the lunchroom, and then the rest I caught up on later. Very emotional. He and his sister in the studio. I've got just a short clip here, a 50-odd second clip of Marko and his sister in the studio.
Možda pronađen vaš otac ovoga puta.
Da, upravo ste, nije mala stvar i velik put i to, ali u trenutku kad sam dobio informaciju da mi je tata pronađen, to mi je javila sestra. I onda sam početkom, kad sam čuo, prvo sam čuo da je brat indecifiran, zove se Gašpar Gašo. Dobili smo informaciju da je i tata. Ja sam iste sekunde rezervisao kartu. Bilo to da li je tata ili brat, za mene su oba dvojica heroji i ja sam odlučio doći u Hrvatsku da odam počast bratu i s nadom da
So Marco did mention to me that they were hoping to raise some money to make a documentary. During the show, they went live to Jakov Sedlar, who was a famous producer, director of all things Crow movies, etc. Following the end of the show, Sedlar made his way into the studio and met with Marco and his sister to discuss potentially even him being the producer or director of this documentary. So that's a massive, massive tick if it does go ahead. Having someone like a Jakov Sedlar behind it and putting it all together, that'll be absolutely massive for Marco and his family. But definitely jump on YouTube, look up Bujica, look at the last episode that was on. It only goes for a bit over an hour. They talked to Dr. Anjelic as well, who was with his father in Vukovar, who fought side by side with him and spoke about him as well. So very, very emotional, like I said. But another one of our friends, Jozo Kolakušić from Forever Croatia, was also on a podcast during the late
Da
last
sam
week.
ostao tamo, uvijek bi bila ta želja, ta žal što nisam, a ovako pokušao sam, išao sam sa mindsetom, ako uspijem, super, ako ne, barem je iskustvo. Mislim da je i moj povratak ovdje inspirirao i druge, znači dosta je mojih prijatelja imalo tu želju i na kraju su i oni došli jer su vidjeli živi primjer čovjeka koji živi tu, radi.
So look at Mladi za Domovinu on YouTube, look up Jozo, and you'll be able to see the full interview there as well.
Watch
So
the interview too. You also sent me the link, and it's a fantastic conversation. He brought up so many things about our community, basically educating everyone that's over in Croatia about what we come from our perspective, and selling us basically, you know, and basically coming out and saying, we're not the stupid people you try and make us out to be,
That's
you know,
right.
the backward people that you want us to, you know, they're intelligent people. There are people who are successful that can offer things to the country, and you actually need to get in touch with them. And like he went over there and he talked about his conversation that he had with Zoran Milanovic when he came down to Monash Uni about 10 odd years ago and spent half an hour debating economic issues that were going on in Croatia at the time. And funnily enough, you know, he was like a 21, 22-year-old klinac, just at uni, had all the answers, and Zoran Milanovic couldn't really, you know, he couldn't really defend himself because he had all the answers. And it just showed that we're on top of things here and that we've got so much to offer. But anyway, if you've got the opportunity, get onto that and watch that. But going back onto Marko Samardžić too, like you can see that. I didn't get to see that, but I will tune into that for sure and see that because it is a very moving topic. But you see, like Jakov Sedlar, you know, when you think about it, of course he came straight in. Because what a story. Vukovar, you know what, like you say, if we were Americans, they would have made 187 films about
That's
it already,
right.
about Vukovar.
Oscars.
30 years later plus, the Croatian government hasn't financed anything, you know, or helped anyone to make a movie about Vukovar. And you can do it from so many perspectives. And like you say, njegova priča, his story with his stepbrother and father, you know, these are just little stories that you can tell that larger story of Vukovar and the human side of it, you know,
That's
and
right.
how we touch people. And it's not just, I don't know, a symbol of, you know, victory or war. There were lives that were affected, people that were affected, a city that was, you know, flattened like Dresden,
That's right.
you know, and a beautiful city at that, you know, a Baroque city that has only starting to get back on its feet after 3 decades. This is a story that has to be told, you know, and good on Jakov Sedlar for basically having the balls to do that. So I'm glad he's on board. And if he doesn't do it, maybe he'll, you know, coax others, you know, into doing it.
That's right.
As well. So
Now, BBB Drags, Tomašević or Tito Tomašević from Zagreb asking why we're wearing black tonight. I'll tell you why we're wearing black, because the good people of Hrvat sent us a pack. So literally the next day after we spoke about them and their and how good they are to our community, how fantastic their product is. You can see here on the screen the pack that was sent to myself and Spolge. A couple of beautiful T-shirts, one which I'm wearing now. The material is absolutely world class.
absolutely world class. So thick, great
The
t-shirt.
fluoro beanies that were out of stock for a long time, they're back. We've now got one each. We've got lanyards. There's a Vukovar keyring. There's that ashtray I was talking about. If anything from this picture here, if you haven't already got the T-shirt or the stickers, the ashtray is an absolute must. So jump onto hrvat.com and you can see the stickers there. There's a whole array of things. But also, another pack that arrived during the week was Sing to Me. So like we had 3 winners, and I'll be getting those books out very, very soon. and 2 copies to myself and Spolge, or to PodroomTV. And there you go, Spolge. You've
Ima
got
tu šta čitate as
you've
well.
got your
vidite ovo.
copy. That one's yours to the
Yeah.
Spoljar family, and they've
Okay.
all been signed to our respective winners. But to the Smolik family, I'm forever grateful. Love Jelena Čurić. Get yourself a copy. It's still time before Christmas, and there's also a little bookmark in there with Jelena's picture on there as well.
To the beautiful Rob Spoyard, thank you for being my muse and inspiring me to write this book. You're
And I
welcome.
think it says, I can't believe you ever spent a minute in the doghouse. You're the best bloke I know, and you just stay in that podroom for as long as you want. Love, Jelena.
Yeah, that's
There
exactly
you
what
go.
it says. So thank
And
you.
there's a hat that Spolge just brought to me from Adelaide. We brought to the show anyway.
So actually, on that video, it was on that video that you just showed. As I'm singing it, he's
stuck the hat on
he's
your
just
head.
stuck my hat on the head. And I go, you know what? That's going straight to the pool room. And this is the
There
pool
you
room,
go.
ladies and gentlemen.
But just a couple other
But I
things.
didn't mention it was like being like Michel Kovac, because all I had to do was put my hands out and the crowd was singing. It was beautiful. Yeah.
But a couple of other announcements just before we go on to our first guest. There's a controversial, not controversial, this is a good one. Adelaide, the replica of Kralj Tomislav's crown, of the Croatian crown.
Yep.
Let me just see if I can read it. And the concert was at the gala ball
That's
that
right.
they had in Adelaide as
That's
well.
right.
So it was the
The
transformed,
Norwood
the
Symphony
grand
Orchestra, was it?
ballroom was sounds of the Norwood Symphonic Orchestra. Absolutely massive, but they also, they've got a replica. It looks like they used opals from Cooperpedia or somewhere up around there.
Wow. Okay.
So people in Adelaide, if you're going to make copies of this, even out of plastic, mate, we need these. If you want to do kids in fancy dress, I want to see kids dress up as King Tom or Kralj Zvonimir or Petar Krešimir or whatever with replica crow crowns,
And is it really based on that Trpimirovic crown? Or is it...
It is. I think it hasn't got those bits to go over the years that you see in a lot of the paintings and a lot of those things, but it's got the 3 crosses. Possibly had 4, one at the back, but we only see that side profile of the 3, and that's the iconic, the 3 crosses across the front and sides.
Yeah.
But the controversial one that I want to talk about is officials from the FFA informed security at the game against NWS Spirit that the Vatican City flag was to be taken down or will be confiscated. So this is Canberra, Croatia, North W Spirit, whatever they were called. And the Vatican flag was... So you're able to run around Melbourne or Sydney with a Hezbollah flag, right?
Yep.
But you're asked to take down a Vatican flag at a local football match in the suburbs of the ACT or New South Wales. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know.
It's a sign of the times. That's what it is.
World has come to, but the church needs to grow some teeth. You know what I mean? Back in the old days, the Archbishop of Melbourne fought conscription, for Christ's sake, back in World War One. There's not a peep. I don't know what's going on in the church. I think they've got their own internal problems, but we need these people to stand up and say, you know what, enough's enough. We need to say something here.
You're scared of offending people. You know what's right is right. What's right by God is right by God. You know, whether you offend someone, well, let it be. I don't know.
And the last one, Dinamo Christmas Party. So this Sunday, November 30, 2025 at Churchill Reserve, bar and kitchen are open. Kids entertainment will start from 12, go till 3. There's a car show from 10 a.m. The Victoria Police versus Dinamo Amateurs, 10:30 kickoff. Live music at 2 o'clock. Who's doing the music, Spolge?
Duo bez brige.
Duo bez brige. Spolge and Sam.
Yeah.
Get down there.
Which I'm hanging for. I haven't had a gig with Sam for a few weeks now. So
Santa Claus, 2:30. Lamb and pig on the spit. Barefoot bowls. If you want to get into the barefoot bowls, limited spots. Teams of 2. Contact Paddy Bolter, 0431 267 118. So if you want to do some barefoot bowls, I don't know what the weather will be, but hopefully it'll be a beautiful day. And everybody gets down.
He saw Paddy Bolter there at the fish store. So, and you know what? You can't miss him.
There's a lot of Melburnians there, man. I'm looking at that footage. There's obviously Vukovar to play, but there was a lot of other.
There was Hrvatska Zora that was down there dancing as well, which I felt sorry for them because during that day when it was just raining, they couldn't do it there. We were supposed to, so they had to do it inside the club rooms, which wasn't really conducive to proper folklore dancing. So, but they did their best. They looked beautiful and they were there partying with everyone. There was a big contingent of Canberrians that came just for the hell of it. And they're always so much fun. They're really, really good. So there's people from all over the place, mate. The vibe was unbelievable. You know, people jumping up and they loved it. Absolutely loved it.
But Spolge, we have someone in our waiting room, mate. We have our very special guest that has joined us, I'm assuming in Sydney, but who knows, with the jet-setting lifestyle that
That's right.
our next guest I watch on social media.
Yep.
Who knows? Could be Milan. She could be, in Šibenik. I don't know. But he's
Tashkent.
Yeah, but if you know what Mariana looks like, standing next to me, and I'm 2 meters tall, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm 196 centimeters tall.
Just shy of 2 meters.
So this looks like Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman here, or Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. You know, with possibly what a power couple we would have been.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We would have
Absolutely.
been. It's Kolinda and Yakov. Oh, you can put it any which way. Tito and Jovanka. You could look at it any which way. But we welcome tonight our very, very good friend and well known to most people across this country of our ethnic background, from TV to Tawnies to absolutely the Croatian Film Festival, Mariana Rudan. How are you, Mariana?
God, I hope you can hear me, because I couldn't hear any of the interviews you were playing. I was like, man, I really wanted to hear those interviews as well. So it's lovely to see you, beautiful looking fellas. And I am coming to you live from good old Chatswood in Sydney. Sorry to disappoint. Sorry to disappoint.
So not as glamorous as I was hoping for. You know, you say you're in. You know.
No, but didn't we look great? We were a power couple, and I'm so glad you wore your heels that night, because I tell you,
I was standing on the break.
we were just almost at eye level, weren't we, Ante? We were.
Well, you did take your shoes off at one point when we went for a cheeky smoke out the back.
You did.
And I was still sort of.
I
was lighting Fantasy Island. Tattoo.
Well, you know what it is when men.
That was a fun night. What a fun night. God.
We can't help but avert our eyes from certain parts of the female body. And, well, Archer's eyes were right there at the level he wanted to be at, I think, when he was standing next to you. So.
Oh, God.
But you've been busy. You're always on the go. There's things going on. You're at galas. You got Croatia House. Tell us a little bit Croatia House, and then also the Croatian Film Festival. It looked like a massive success. I've got a couple of screenshots as well. There were sellouts of various nights, but you know, you had.
I'll tell you what, the only film we didn't sell out on was the last one, which was a very funny film. It was a zombie Croatian comedy, which a few people walked out and said, "Is that the best you could do?" And I was like, "Sorry, it wasn't my pick." But it was. Other than that, we sold out everything. I mean, the biggest problem we had was that we just didn't have enough tickets, unfortunately, because, I mean, who buys tickets for a movie until a few days before the movie? But, you know, we'd sort of sold 735 tickets before the festival had started. And then, unfortunately, we just couldn't add any more cinemas when the interest really took off, when people were like, what are we going to do on the weekend? I heard there's a Croatian film festival, and there weren't enough tickets to go around. But that is a good problem to have. So that was really, really successful film festival. I mean, I had my noggin up there for a few months in the lead up to it. Might have helped that I was pushing, you know, with these film reviews, and which we had, you know, it helped also that we had 2 tickets to Croatia with Turkish Airlines. You know, they were very keen to come on board this year, and that, you know, there was in fact a guy from Melbourne won it. Would you believe? He came all the way up from Melbourne to Sydney. He watched 4 films. He bought 4 tickets to 4 different sessions, and he won. I couldn't. And he said, "Why?" The first thing he said to me, he said, "Why did I have to travel all the way to Sydney to go see a Croatian film festival? Why don't they have it in Melbourne?" Good question, fellas. Let's fix that up.
So, what is happening? Will it possibly come to Melbourne? Will there be a incarnation of the Croatian Film Festival?
As Mariana is aware,
we're trying. We're trying.
There are a group of wonderful people coming together next week to discuss when and how this can happen and be brought to Melbourne. So we'll bring you more information once there's more information to come. But something that has to happen in Melbourne, absolutely has to happen. It's a disgrace that it hasn't been in Melbourne yet. Simple as that. You can't paint it any other way. But yeah, really looking forward to it. But actually, with you're talking about the film festival, which one stood out for you? What was the one that really grabbed your heart?
Oh, look, like Ante alluded to, I have been to Croatia a few times in the last couple of years. So I was lucky enough to see some of these films over there. Dražen was the one I went straight to see because, of course, he was from Šibenik. That's where my, family are from. And, he was such a Croatian legend and a sporting legend, and he was just a great all-round kind of guy. That movie was really lovely. I mean, I watched it and I was a little bit disappointed because we have grand illusions. This guy was like, he was like God to many people, from Croatia. And this movie was all about Dražen the man himself, Dražen the son, Dražen the boyfriend, Dražen the good mate, so it really sort of portrayed him completely as a human rather than as this sports icon. And so I framed it as such when it was a sellout. The opening night was a sellout. In fact, we opened up a second session that was also a sellout on Father's Day, and if we'd had a third one, I reckon we would have sold that too. That was one that was a favourite among people for obvious reasons. I mean, there were a couple of other ones that were really, really good as well. I mean, I loved Sveta Obitelj. It was a set in Slavonia about a Slavonian village family in the 1960s. It was interesting, really. I think a good story will break your heart, and with the other one that was very popular was the best of Croatian shorts. What our film was there, but there were some fantastic films from Croatia that were in there. There was a Croatian American film that I picked as well to put in there with a female Croatian director. And this next year we hope to do the same, to have another best of Croatian shorts. I went and saw one in Zagreb recently by a director called Bobby Grubic. He's a Croatian American guy. He's doing some great stuff over in Croatia at the moment. He did a film called Samocha, and the guy who's the main character in this film actually died a few weeks before the premiere, which is really sad. But his daughter was there at the premiere in Zagreb, and really beautiful, beautiful, very touching, heartbreaking film. Actually, really for anyone who's got, obviously, all of us have, aging parents, and how tragic it is when they don't have anyone to come and visit them when they're in their sort of dying days. It's a really tender film, and I mean, how best to tell a story than through film, I say, So yeah.
Now, before we go more into depth about other films, in particular one short film we want to talk about, tell us a little about. Tell us about Mariana. Introduce Mariana to the audience. Let us say, where did you grow up? How did you get involved with this? How were you inspired by your background? And talking about power couples, what about a power family and brothers and famous brothers and things like that? So tell us about little Mariana and how you got here.
Yeah, well, little Mariana wasn't that little for very long because she was Croatian. Jeez, she's the Jovan Kades Matito over there, or whatever. What was the other one they gave? But yeah, I remember. But look, I was yeah, I mean, like most Croatians, we were all like just soccer mad, weren't we? So it was the Croatian picnic, then it was the Croatian church, and then it was, for us, it was mainly Croatian soccer, Sydney, Croatia, all the way. And I have such fond memories of that. In fact, I had to rehash all those memories recently because the Večernji List wanted to do a little story on, our film and all sorts of stuff. And they were asking lots of questions about me and my relationship to soccer. But I mean, I'm not the only one, right? Look, we were down celebrating St Albans 50 years. And before that, there was, Melbourne, Croatia. And, it was just, I talked about how much I loved it because of the theatre of football. I mean, for us, it was an extension of who we were, right? And that's what the A-League misses and all these other clubs, because we weren't just representing Croatia, we were representing Croatia that, back then didn't even exist, and we were allowed to say it loud and proud and, with our hearts and on our sleeves and to sing the songs. And we, we were little kids, and I told this journalist, I said, we grew up in Australia, but we were growing up in Croatia. We were singing Croatian songs. We had Croatian iconography on our pencil cases. I used to have the gurb, but I told them the story about a girl in my class who said, "What's that?" And I said, "It's a gurb." And she said, "Well, what's that?" And I said, "Well, it's the symbol of where my Croatian parents came from." And she went back to her dad, and the next day she said, "My dad told me you're Yugoslav and that Croatia doesn't exist. And that you guys are Nazi puppets." And I said, and for about 2 seconds, because I'm usually not lost for words, I said, you tell your dad he doesn't know anything, and Croatia exists, and then I went home. I said, "Dad, what are Nazi puppets?" So but I mean,
it's a Metallica record from 1986.
Yeah. All right, we'll take it. 1986 sounds good. It was a bit young. It was a bit before then, and I was 10. But yeah, no, it was in the 1980s for sure. And yeah, I mean, look, it's my story is not uncommon. Everyone's got the same story to tell, I'm sure. So yeah, I grew up very proud to be Croatian. It's funny because when I did this film Unspoken, which you probably heard about. The girl that was in the film with me, she's 20 years younger, and the main character is sort of based on her life, and she shunned her Croatian heritage. She grew up in Wollongong, and it wasn't trendy to be Croatian, and she didn't want to speak the language, and all of that stuff, and I just didn't understand what the hell she was talking about. Like I had the complete opposite, situation at home. I was very proud to say that I was Croatian. In fact, we used to wear, remember those T-shirts? Italians rule, Croatians
yeah,
rule,
yeah,
Croatians do it
yeah,
better.
the Croatians do it better. You can buy
Yeah,
it.
Croatians,
yeah,
Greeks do it
yeah.
better, French do it, whatever. It was mostly Greeks, Lebanese, Italians, right? We used to love it, right? So, I mean, that was it. And then, of course, I grew up watching all these kids, and they were kids back then, and now they all became Socceroos. One of, my brother was among that whole cohort, and so
Coach of Australia now as well.
correct, yeah. Tony Popovic was there, Ante Milicic was there. He was in the year above my brother, and Sydney Croatia Juniors. I mean, there was so many, I can't even rattle them off. There was so many of them.
So when you became like a journalist and you got into that whole journalism thing, was it the soccer that inspired you? Was it a combination of the both? Or
So I'm going to be honest. When I was a kid, I wanted to sing and dance, but my mum quickly, she smothered that dream really fast. She's like, "Oh, all right, you can do that on the weekends, but what do you really want to do? Ti dobro pišeš, either, you need to be a journalist or a newsreader," and so I think she was the one who stuck that seed in my head. And then I loved Jana Vent from 60 Minutes. I thought she was amazing, and I just wanted to go around the world and be a foreign correspondent and talk about geopolitics and all that sort of stuff. And I think, after, going through studying politics, I got very disillusioned by it. I just think, it just wasn't for me. I wanted to tell stories that made people laugh, that brought the heart out of people. And, I think politics often takes, you might go in there with good intentions, but you come out sort of, be a little bit maybe, yeah. So it wasn't for me. I thought, let's tell stories that actually sort of, make people love each other and connect to each other. And football's a good one, I mean, it happened by accident, to be perfectly clear. I would have, if I, in a perfect world, I would have told stories about probably music and film and all sorts of things. I mean, I'll write about anything, right? But football was a great medium. It was one that presented itself when I came back from living in Milan, where I'd sort of worked in television for the last 6 months before I decided that, Italy wasn't for me and that I probably was never going to marry an Italian. I probably should think about that because I was in my early 30s, so I went back to Sydney. And, the opportunity presented itself. Andy Pascalides was looking for someone who could write, and a woman who liked football, knew football, and knew how to write. And my brother said, "Well, I think I know someone." And I went and auditioned, and the rest is history. And that it started from there. And with Andy on Football Stars of Tomorrow, and then SBS heard my voice, loved my stories, and they called the production company, said, "Who is that? We want to meet her." And then I had to go and audition again there, and that's the rest is history. But I mean, look, it was probably a job that wasn't really a job. I would have done it for free. Like, every single day was the most exciting day. We got to just hang around and just talk about football. I did the Italian game for years. Obviously, I really loved Serie A. I loved it as a kid. My brother and I used to watch it on SBS on Sundays. And I always sort of had a thing for AC Milan. Little did I know that I was going to end up living there. So, that was really fun. I did that with Tony Palumbo for a few years, and yeah, it was fun. Fun days.
Did you pronounce the names like Les Murray and Tony Palumbo used to?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a story, and I hope David Bashir's not watching, but I was saying this the other day. When I was on the, they used to sort of, when I'd be pronouncing all the names, I said, Jason Chulina scored a blah, 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 because Jason was still playing back then. David Bashir pulls me to the side later and he says to me, and we're really good mates, by the way, and he said, just wanted to let you know that it's Jason Kalina. And I
Your
said,
relation's terrible.
and I said, yeah, okay, no, it's not. It's Jason Chulina. And he goes, no, that's not how we say it. It's Jason Kalina.
Oh, God.
That's how you say it, mate.
Imagine what he would say. Imagine what he'd say to Mark Torkic, because he'd say Jason Chulna.
Yeah, so fun times. Yeah.
and you obviously enjoyed your time there at SBS.
Oh, yeah. Loved it.
Was it time to move on after there, or was it?
Yeah. I mean, look, I had 2 little kids. It was the World Cup around that time. My son came early, and they were, it was just time to move on. They brought in the A-League. They wanted someone younger. Lucy came along. I was doing 2 days a week at that stage. I didn't want to work full time, and after that, it was just time to leave. I'd been there for a good 8 years. I needed to renovate my home. I did all of that. There were, after that, I moved on to doing some documentary work. I decided around 2014 that the world was really dark. And little did I know that it would get darker. But, ISIS was a thing back then, and, MH17 had fallen out of the sky. And there were just, and had been recruited to work as a newsreader for the last maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 months of 2013. They wanted to take me into the news and current affair. I'd been working with the news department for a few years as, sort of interim sports host on the shows and stuff, but this was like an upgrade, and everyone was like, you've made it. And I remember reading the late night news every night, and I was pregnant with my son back then, and thinking, if my husband would say, oh, you did a good job. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, why do you look so unhappy? And I said, because I never thought that I'd be delivering like shit stories into people's living rooms for a living, like it just didn't feel very satisfying to me. And I think that was the beginning of the turning point for me. There's something just sort of really, it was much more fun delivering soccer stories. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean? Because and so, yeah, I mean, after that, I just had, I left, and I decided to start up Inside Optimist Media. And the first thing I wanted to do was to find out, why were the Danes so happy? So I actually took a cameraman with me. I researched for about 6 or 7 months. I made contacts with half of Denmark. And I went over there and I interviewed the education minister, and I interviewed the health minister. I went into schools. I did some really great stories on why the Danes, happen to be so sort of happy-go-lucky and happy. And one of those stories went viral about the kids and how they teach in Denmark compared to how they teach in other places. Yeah, so I mean, and then from that I went to Sweden, I did the Swedish parent interviews, and then my mum got brain cancer, so that kind of put a spanner in the works, and we did the big Kick It for Brain Cancer campaign, my brother and I, and sort of from there I just thought, this feels good to me. But in 2020, when the world shut down, I thought I'm going to write, I'm going to be creative. Helena Shoreditch beat me to it. She's written this amazing book that I read on the plane on the way back recently and loved it. I met this woman this young NIDA graduate who had this Croatian Australian story that had never been told, and I just fell in love with it. And I said, I'll help you in any way I can. And a couple of months later, we ended up sort of, I brought in funding, and then we rewrote the script together, and I brought in that whole sort of factual background. And I guess, I just keep telling stories in different ways. It doesn't really matter. You know what I'm talking about. You guys tell stories too.
I've done some research about Denmark as well. Why the Danish are so happy. There are no Herzegovka in Denmark. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
That is exactly what it is. Not one.
No men in the doghouse. But actually, touching on what you were talking about there, and that's actually fascinating when you said it's so bleak and so much negativity when you're talking about news. Do you think that's something that could actually change? I mean, you're someone who's actually experienced in this, and you actually have the you can be talking about it. But what I want to ask was, do you think they can change the perspective on how news is actually broadcast and topics and what's actually broadcast and what's important? Is it only the negative stuff that's important, or is there other positives?
It's not that the negative stuff's important. The negative stuff is the stuff that sells. They used to say to us back in applied communication, if it bleeds, it leads. That's it. That's the thing. Unfortunately, people are addicted to drama. They know that it sells. It's also if you can throw something that's really polarizing and divisive, they love it because they love it, don't they? And I just feel really sad about that, because I just think we've got more in common than we have apart. I don't know.
Need more of those Alan Rascal clips at the end of the news. They put on a dog
surfing
or whatever.
That dolphin story after they've told you about death, disaster, fire.
He's Alan Rascal
devastation. How many people
at Martin Place juggling fucking monkey or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's it. They need more of those. It became a
He's
thing.
on Rascal in the podroom throwing up in the corner.
They need, you know what? They need you. I watched episode 17 because I was quite upset. 17 is my lucky number. I thought, I'm episode 19 on Podroom. I lucked out. So I went back to episode 17 and I saw that clip of you with the glasses, aren't there? Oh my God. Can you please do that, more of that? Just send it to the mainstream media. Send it to them. Say, put this on your newsfeed at the end. Watch them die of laughter.
Oh, mate, but we're going to release that what episode was the Unplugged? Was that episode 17?
I don't know. There was one
Yeah,
episode
it was
7.5
17.
hours.
Yeah, that's good. That wasn't a short film. That was a 4-part mini-series of
that
Croatian
was so
zombies.
good.
I only remember about 3.5 hours of that 7.5 hour episode.
That's good.
But Croatia House.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about Croatia House. Are they the sort of the driving force behind the film festival, or is that something separate again?
I'm not going to take the rap. Croatia House started in 2019. I'm a latecomer to it. I mean, I'm not. It was. It started with the former consul, Croatian consul's wife. She was a creative. I think she was a former actress, and she brought the Dollhouse out to Sydney, and I think it went to Melbourne as well. They did an adaptation of it for Australian audiences, and that was the beginning of Croatia House. And then it was taken over successfully by Mirjana Cestar. She was the president for 5 or 6 years. She did a fantastic job. And then last year, her and Betty cornered me and said, it's time for you to do it. And I said, oh, thank you so much. It's, such an honor, but I can't do it. I've got enough going on with my mum and dad at the moment. They're not well, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I understand, but you really need to do it. So I ended up, I said, all right, I'll do it for a year because, I'm a sucker for a good film and Croatian films. I'd never seen that many of them. I want to say to you though, Robert, there are a few films on Vukovar that have been put out. The Šesti autobus, so that was one of them that came out in the Croatian film. Yeah, really great film about based in Vukovar. 260 Days by Jakov Sedlar as well. Here, that's amazing. That was also a story that was from Vukovar. So there are a few of them. That's just two that I can recall. But it'd be great to have another one. But I think the Croatian Film Festival has been great. It's difficult because Croatia's a small country and they don't do enough films, So that was a challenge for Mirjana. Last year we were lucky, or this year rather, we were lucky. I brought a couple of back from the, that had shown maybe a year or two ago, because I thought they were good and that not enough people saw them. But there is a challenge with Croatian films because it's a small country and they don't make enough of them. I was dealing with producers who didn't even have a poster in English. That's how sort of small their world is, and so that is a little bit challenging. I think in terms of, I think Mirjana found it to be they were thinking about doing it every second year. We'll see how we go this year, but I know that the most popular films are the family films. They're amazing. There are 2 fantastic family films that have come out in Croatia this year. So we'll definitely bring in those next year. And the Croatian schools all got behind Cricket and Antoinette, fantastic animated Croatian film, which I want to bring to Melbourne in the next couple of months alongside Dražen. I've got them and I think you really enjoy them. But there are a couple more that are really great that are coming out of Croatia at the moment. And there's some other ones as well, some fantastic dramas. So we'll see what the future holds. It would be great for those films to come down to Melbourne. For the first time ever, there were people in the audience. I think we probably had about 38% who weren't Croatians, who'd never ever been to a Croatian film, had never seen one. And they came and said to me, that was amazing. They were really taken aback by the quality of the films. And I think that's the whole thing, isn't it? We want to, we don't have to promote Croatian culture to Croatians. We're preaching to the converted. But if we can promote it to Australians, well then, they're getting to see another side of our country, and also of how rich and deep our history is, and, the culture and how many stories we have to tell,
They're a lot smarter. They're a lot deeper, the films that are coming out now. I don't know if you remember, you might be, and my vintage, watching SBS pre-1990, when you'd have it at midnight, you'd have some movie, whether it was Crows, Serb, Yugo, whatever. Yeah. It was absolute smut.
Yeah.
It would start off, they were at a wedding, and it would pan over to a barn. And it's
there's still a few of those, aren't there?
It was absolute, it was terrible, some of that shit they used to show. And there were Crow ones. There was Crow ones amongst them. It wasn't just, the Serbs or whatever.
No, I think it was that previous state we used to be part of. They like to promote absurdism, and that was one thing that they actually excelled in more ways than one.
The country was absurd,
but it was, And sorry for making that sweeping statement earlier on. I'm prone to doing that without any foundation. But what I wanted to say with that, I think, really is the little that the government actually pushes the arts, film in particular. They're not subsidising the artists as much as they should be, and promoting I promote the country with tourism and things like that. But in terms of the arts, I think some of our neighbours actually put a lot more effort into it than what we do, or from a
Yeah,
government
the
perspective.
Serbs do
Yeah.
an amazing job. Like, you know, I mean, I spoke to a couple of Croatian directors, and he made this fantastic film. I want to bring it back, actually. He's the boys from Split. He's from Trogir, Josip, and he made this fantastic film. And it was based in Rasline, sorry, near Šibenik. But it really, he discovered this fantastic actor from Šibenik who's in another movie at the moment that's been doing really well. It's won a few awards, called Bog Neće Pomoći. It's about a Chilean woman who comes back after her Croatian husband dies and finds this land. Anyway, I won't say any more because I don't know much, but everyone's raving about it. It was at the Zagreb Film Festival. I really want to bring it to Australia next year. And this kid's in it as well. But he was saying, you know, I mean, the Serbs, I don't know, he said they just do it so much better than the Crows because, I don't know, maybe they got dirty money and they got to launder it or something, but they just invest more in their films.
No, they do.
And the Croatians have got so many great stories, and they really, really do. They've got so many. But yeah, Hubs is good. They do finance it, but they could do better. I mean, this Josip was saying he put in so much money, got all these grants, and in the end, no one goes to watch it. I mean, the Croatians are terrible. They don't even go watch their own films. They watch the kids' ones. But I thought only the Australians were bad about not watching Australian films. We've
Yeah.
got the same problem. It's everything's Hollywood centric, which is really a shame, you know, because there's so many good stories. But
But you would have also seen Netflix Novine. That was a 2-season series. Did you
I
ever watch
heard that was really good. No, I didn't see that.
That was world class. I
Was
think.
it? I got to
The
see that.
production of it. I think the whole thing. It was loosely based, or not very loosely. It's pretty much based on political, everyday life in Croatia and how it all works and the corruption and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Based out of
yes,
Rijeka,
okay.
so it was a lot more darker than if it was in Zagreb or some other city.
Novine. Okay, I've heard
Yeah.
so much about that.
Yeah,
I got to
it was
watch
a paper.
that. I got
In English, it's the paper, but it was on Netflix. Yeah.
It was an actually great segue. I was going to bring that up because we were talking about Novine last week, actually, after the show. And I was going to say is that Goran Grgic, who was part of Unspoken, was actually in Novine. So that
Was he? Yeah. Oh, mate.
And I
What
actually
a
recognised him from it.
what a fortuitous grab he was. I mean, wow. Have you guys seen Unspoken, by the way?
Oh, so I was going to say, I'm ashamed to say that I first watched it about an hour and a half ago at the end of work. And all I can say to you, Mariana, is
SBS on demand.
Ladies and gentlemen, SBS on demand, it's free, and Unspoken is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I say, honestly, with hand on it, was amazing.
Thanks,
moved
Rob.
to tears. I was actually moved to tears. The performances were outstanding. And I know sometimes when you look at Australian things, and I'm very critical of it, and I suppose because of my background, but sometimes it can feel talky, it can feel insincere.
Yeah.
This was so sincere. The performances, Goran Grgic, who held the whole thing together, he was amazing.
Wasn't he? Yeah.
He was so convincing. Kat Dominus, who you were talking about from Wollongong, she was extraordinary. So was the cast around it. You know, sometimes shorts can be, I don't know, a little bit preachy. You know, you see through it and you see like, oh, they're trying to prove something or whatever. But the twists in this, the layers in the story, honestly, Mariana, I'm not saying this because you're on the show. I absolutely adored it. It's probably my favorite short film I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, wow. Thank you, mate.
I am not surprised that it's award-winning.
Yeah.
And it won the, what is it called, the International Grand Prix at Clermont-Ferrand, which is known as basically the Oscars of short films. And
well, speaking of Oscars, we're in the first round of the Oscars.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go.
We're in the first. That winning the Clermont-Ferrand meant we were Oscar eligible, and then you got to apply, and we got accepted into the first round. This is the hardest round, and unfortunately, we ran out of money. So and everything, money talks. So you know, we're trying to do the best that we can to get to the final 15. We had a great article. The LA Reporter wrote an article about the 15 that they predict will make it to the next round. So from 180 now around the world, the Academy will vote for 15 to make it to the second round, and then from the 15 they reduce it down to the 5, and they're the 5 that make it to the Oscars for the short film category. So we're in the round 1. I'm not crossing my fingers or toes or anything like that. But that LA Reporter did include us as one of the 15 films, which is an incredible honor. I mean, it means nothing, right? But just to be mentioned is already amazing. So you know, we just got to sort of see. We you know, it's just such an expensive thing, and you just don't make any money back, from it. It's all, so, but it would, we really hope if it gets to the 15, and there's not much we can do at this stage, because it's just, it's all political. It's a PR exercise, and it's, how much money have you got? It's like running for president in America, right? He with the one with the deepest pockets will win, so it's a bit like that. And it's not something that we could do, but if it gets to the 15, I think we're going to start up a GoFundMe page, because wouldn't it be amazing if we could have the first Croatian Australian, and not only the first Croatian Australian film, but about a story that, and this is what they said to us in France. Every single juror came up to us later, to Kat and I, because we were there when we couldn't believe we won. We were absolutely shocked. But it was just a big honour just to be selected, because they had over 10,000 global entries, and we were one of 62 to make it. But to then win it, like, we just, we didn't in a million years expect it. In fact, Damien flew back home. He didn't think we were going to win. He flew back home early, wasn't he upset? But they all said, I'm from Sri Lanka, and I grew up in Paris, and this is the story of our Sri Lankan community. This was what happened to our people in Paris. And then there was a Hungarian woman, a Mexican woman, a Lebanese guy. They all said, this story happened in our country. This story happened in our country. This story happened, and this is a story about a Croatian minority, and the true story about how we were perceived back in the 1970s. I tell a tale. I told it recently as well. When I met Deb Spillane after COVID, I said to her I'd written this short film with a woman. Deb Spillane used to be an ABC sports reporter, and she was the first female sports reporter, actually, working in the 1970s. She said to me, "You know what, Mariana? I'm going to tell you something. Back in the 70s, there used to be this rugby player called Max Krilic. We used to call him Max Bomb Thrower Krilic." She said, and it was because of the way that Crows were perceived. They used to call him the bomb thrower, And so, and that tells you everything, doesn't it, about perceptions? I mean, I told my mother-in-law the same story about how I was writing this film. She goes, "Oh, that's nice, darling." And my mother-in-law, for all intents and purposes, is the Anglo-Saxon, highly educated woman, very much that kind of, she said, "That's nice, darling," because the Croatians weren't perceived very positively back in the 70s. They were all viewed as terrorists, And so I'm like, that's exactly right. And that's why it's important to tell this tale,
No, thanks to Gough Whitlam as well, who came up with that 50th anniversary
Oh,
of the...
I thought you were going to tell a joke there. A Lebanese woman, a Mexican woman walk into a bar.
No, that's for you.
the director, actually, because you spoke about Damien, you're talking about Damien
he's amazing.
Walsh Howling. He
Yeah.
did an incredible job directing it as well. It's beautifully filmed.
And look, I mean, I'm going to say, when he rewrote it with us as well. He helped us tighten up that script. We were sitting in Byron Bay. We flew him up from Melbourne to rewrite this script. He said, "I really want to do it." I had to do a big hard sell on him even to get him interested. He was like, "Nah." I said, "Listen, mate, when I tell you the real story, it's going to be a TV series one day. You want to be part of this." And then I couldn't get him off the phone. And he's a good friend of mine. That's how I got in touch with him. And we flew him up, and we were all sitting around, we're drinking a glass of wine. He goes, "What are we going to call it?" And then there was dead silence. He said, "I know, Unspoken." And when you think about it, that's really like, it's such a good title for that film, right? Because there's so much that's not said, neizrečeno. And how much we had to sort of false pretenses walk around thinking that we're, knowing people were thinking stuff about us or whatever, our parents mostly, and not saying anything, that kind of thing. So, so look, I mean, let's see where it goes, but.
Yeah, but watching, like I was saying it Unspoken, they're watching it as a Croat. Some of it doesn't even have to be spoken about because you know exactly where it's coming from because you felt it and lived it. But what to say is to a lot of the viewers as well, Damien Walsh Howling is better known as Benji on
Underbelly.
On Underbelly. So
amongst other things, but that's probably his most
that's what it is.
prolific.
Oh yeah,
amazing job. But Kat Donners, she blew me away with her performance.
She was amazing.
As well.
Yeah.
And played a strong, intelligent Croatian woman, which was fantastic to say. And it was funny because you mentioned earlier you got sick of all the seriousnesses and you wanted to make people laugh and bring happy stories. But I found a quote that she said, and that it's actually the opposite. She said, "I was tired of us playing for laughs as a Croat. I wanted something sincere, raw, honest. Something that reflected the emotional weight and complexity of our history, something real." And that's something that comes across in this because instead of just being like a sushi mango kind of thing where we take the piss, or a House's thing where the guy's in the toilet for 7 hours because he ate too much soma. It's all funny, all great, but that's, is that all we're good for? Because there's actually a story to tell. There are lives that have been lived here. And like you said, you grew up there in Sydney living these things, and being discriminated against. There's no two ways about it. We were. And I remember, like you saying in primary school, I said, what are you, Croatian? And, the teacher goes, I don't know how to write Croatian in Italian or whatever it was. I'll write Yugoslavian. I got pissed off and walked out of the class. But there's so many of those stories, thousands of them. But so the way it was set, the performances, it was absolutely incredible.
No,
Where did the
that's
whole concept come from? The whole story, how did it all come about?
Oh, I mean, like I said, Kat started with her original story was about a migrant girl who was a uni student who didn't want to speak Croatian to her parents. And she didn't have any brothers in the original story, and she had a secret Australian boyfriend. All of that we kept. And it was a very nice story, but that was basically it. And I knew that the world had to sort of be bigger, like how do we make it bigger? Because I mean, I don't know much about film, but I do know a lot about sort of storytelling, and you've got to bring in the conflict. And the conflict was already there, this sort of reverse racism sort of scenario where the Aussie parents didn't really like her because she was Croatian. She had touches of that, and I said, well, let's give them more of a reason not to like her. Do you know what happened in the 1970s?
Yeah.
And she said no. And I said, well, and she really wanted me to rewrite it with her because she'd been told by someone else that what just wasn't strong enough as a script. I liked the first story. I fell in love with the idea that this young girl, Kat, had wanted to write this bilingual film, like something Croatian and Australian. And she originally came to me just to play her mum because she was looking for someone who could speak Croatian. And I mean, I've never acted, so that was the first time I've ever, done that. And I guess I'm just purely there,
I have to stop you there. Your performance was brilliant. And I wanted to ask you, did you have any background? Did you have any training? Because you did so well. And I was so surprised
thank
to see
you.
you.
We were interviewed by Rose Byrne last week for the Academy Blast, and she said the same thing. She's like, I can't believe you haven't acted. And Damien said, I auditioned her because Kat said she could act, but I said I have to see that now that I'm director. And he got me in the NIDA, and he gave me these. And after about 30 seconds, he said, stop. And I said, what, I'm not good enough? And he said, no, you're bloody excellent. And he goes, that's it, you're playing the mum. And we had Ljubo Milicevic back then as well. He was almost going to be Goran Grgic, but I think Goran Grgic, sorry, Ljubo, Goran Grgic.
Cheers, Australia.
I love Ljubo. You know what? He's fantastic to watch, but
He's great.
He wasn't the father, I don't think.
No, he wasn't the father. We got the right father. Goran's sensational, and I mean, it was like we were so lucky to get him because at the time when we were writing it, it was COVID. Nobody could come in, nobody could come out. What it was like. It was terrible, and I thought, oh, far out. How are we going to get him? Because Betty said, oh, Goran Grgic. I said, who's that? Does he live in Canberra? And she said, no, he lives in... I'd never heard of him, and she said, no, he's in Zagreb. I was like, oh, Betty, hello. And then, as it turned out, we didn't have money, we couldn't, we had to raise much more money because Damien wanted more money. And we're like, trying to figure out how the hell we're going to get all this money. Croatian government gave us 30,000. I mean, they were fantastic. We, applied for all these different grants and stuff. And then, the Gordon turns up to the, Croatian Film Festival as a VIP guest. I could not believe it. We could not believe it. And I knew he was going to be there. And I went there with a script and I said, Gordon, I'm Mariana. We've got can we meet for coffee tomorrow? I've got something I need to show you, and we met up for him I said to Damien and Kat, get your bloody asses into the city. We're meeting Gordon Grgic. This is our Josip. He's the guy. And he fell in love with Damien and he just went, when do we start? So we had to bring him over and do the work visa and everything. It was great. I mean, it was just, like you said, serendipity. Excellent. So good. Now, I don't look, I mean, maybe if we get to the final, to the round of 15, maybe you can put me on the show again and we can do a little GoFundMe promo.
100%.
Even if everyone just gave $10 to get it to the Oscars, can you imagine? Like, just far out, Anyway,
and then as a return favor, you need to introduce me to Rose Byrne.
She is the best.
Don't worry about Hollywood.
He's got a thing for roses.
Oh my God!
Was the greatest Australian television series of all time.
I tell you what, I love her. She's the best. I told her I just said, you're so iconic, and she's so humble. She's like, oh, thank you. Like, just so nice. I was like,
I've seen she's got ads on TV now, her and her husband.
I know
Yeah,
the
they do.
domain
They're
ones.
absolutely
They're
great.
fabulous.
I love
Yeah,
your
but she's
husband
my
for
favourite
vinyl.
all time. But yeah, from Echo Point, from back in the New South Wales soapy that she was in. I
Oh,
don't even know what she's done
she's
after
the
that. That was a
best.
great.
Yeah, nah, she's just the best, and she's a
You
good
should
mate
see
of.
your
She's a
husband
good
in
mate of
vinyl.
Damien. So she was
Well,
lovely to have done
Mariana,
it.
please feel free to keep us in the loop. If it does go through, as soon as you
Yeah.
find out, let us know. We'll get straight onto it.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
get you on the show.
For
We'll
sure.
do whatever we can in the
Oh,
GoFundMe
thanks,
space.
guys. I
Help
really
whatever we
appreciate it.
can.
Look, I mean, it's a long shot, okay? It's a long shot. But if it happens, if the universe, if the stars collide and we get to the next round, I'd love your support. And, it would be great to sort of, for just, it'd be amazing.
Or even that house that you filmed the.
Oh my gosh. It's so, can you believe that? That's in Carlton in Sydney. Their cats, like family friends, they haven't renovated ever. That house is original, like original 1970s sink, everything. I mean, who doesn't
The shower
renovate even
screen.
their sink? The
The
kitchen,
shower
everything is
screen.
it's authentically 70s. It's
Yeah,
just
it took me back.
unbelievable.
It took me back to my childhood.
I know. It was
Vintage sink.
insane. Even
But
the
even-
tiles, amazing. We
Even
were
the
so
doctor's
lucky.
house there with that rock wall there and that 70s, it was stunning.
Oh, that one we rented. That one, the Aussie house we got.
Yeah.
That was like an architecturally designed house up in the northern sort of North Shore. But I mean, that other one was like a really
Yeah, it
authentic
was.
Croatian home in Carlton.
It was,
Down in the Sydney South where all
Yeah.
the crows live.
Right
So,
down to
yeah.
the Capeljara there that was full.
Is it abalone shell, pepelado, like we used to have?
It's there now. It's just chock. It's full of I know my childhood. The living room had a perennial blue cloud just flying around.
You know what? It was so funny. As a side note, and then I'm sure you're probably sick of my voice, but Goran Grgic, Damien made him smoke herbal cigarettes, the whole freaking thing. And in the
What do
end,
you mean by herbal cigarettes?
those, they're not
Were they
real
like
cigarettes.
this?
I can't see. But he was smoking these herbal cigarettes, and he was, because he was he doesn't really speak English that well. I mean, he speaks better than he put lids on, but he was like, "Pička ti materno, ovo je otrov." And I said, "Pa nije, to je ono herbalno." "Pa šta mu nije? Pa zašto ja ne mogu praviti cigarete?" Anyway, by the end, because we'd done so many bloody scenes, Damien said, he goes, "There's no more herbal cigarettes." He goes, "Oh, Goran, just make your own." And he goes, "Ha bože mili, pa zašto nisam mogao ovako zapali prije?" And he pulls out his Marlboro Reds, from Croatia. And we were laughing. We started laughing so much because it didn't stop him from smoking them, even though he hated it. I was like, oh, it was very funny. But yeah.
So testament to you and everything you've done to be in the running to be in the Oscars. And like you said, without that political backing, without money, without all of that.
Gosh, would have been much better.
In the running shows how good this short film is, and it is.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
outstanding.
And we
It's
look
stunning.
like, yeah, we're lucky because Damien is a genius. Like, he just loved this story from the start. He really, really took it on, and he just gave everything up. And I mean, that twist to the end, Joel Edgerton, I mean, this is the kind of caliber that we've had on this film. Like, again, testament to Damien. He told him to add it. And when Damien rang me and said, "We've got to change the script," it was 2 days before we had to shoot. And he told me what he wanted to do. I had goosebumps because the same thing had happened to my dad, and it was that same act of betrayal, like by someone. And I just said, "Well, yes, it has to go in because it's actually true. It's actually true." So. Yeah, no, it was a good, and yes, I mean, watching the audiences all around the world, they all gasp, at the same time, has been quite lovely to see as well. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for having me.
Fantastic,
I'm sure
Mariana.
you're
Thank
sick of my
you.
voice, so I'm going to
All
let
the
you go.
best. No doubt we'll catch up again soon.
Definitely.
Over a coffee with Rose Byrne, perhaps, and but all the very best with the film and everything that you're doing. It's absolutely fantastic. You're showcasing our narod in this country and across the world in the best possible positive light, and that's what we love. And the energy. It was, as Zdenko Orlovic also just said, the energy and the passion coming out of this interview, out of our guest tonight, has been absolutely phenomenal. So, Fala, thank you. Enjoy your travels, because no doubt in a week's time I'll probably see you in Mexico or something. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. All the best.
Keep
smiling,
everybody,
and the best of luck.
Thank you.
See
Thanks
ya.
so much.
Like
There you go, Mariana Rudan, journalist, filmmaker,
Oh.
writer, MC, does absolutely everything. Yeah.
No, I did. I don't
Mother.
know whether it was just I put it on thinking like I didn't have any expectations. It's not, and it just exceeded. It was just amazing. It really was, and I'm not just saying it because she came on the show. I'm so happy that I watched this thing, and every Croat is gonna relate to this movie or to this short film. Get onto it. It's there on SBS On Demand. You can watch it anytime you want. I think it goes for 21 minutes, and it will be 21 minutes you won't regret.
Exactly right. Now, there's been a lot of chat coming through here.
I can see these things, but I can't see anything.
Give me Alan Tomic. Where's Alan Tomic? Just wait, Phil. He's coming. Damn, he'll be here. He's online at the moment. But Al, just hold on one little bit more. We've got some guests in the studio that have just popped in. Some fantastic local, for us, they're kids from Folklorna Grupa Mladi Hrvati. So come and join us. We've got Jessica Dragicevic and Kristijan Pericic. Come in, guys. We'll move across. We'll bump across. Welcome. Now, you guys, I thought, because when Rose said, we want to have a couple of people in from Mladi Hrvati, I thought you had proba, but it's the little kids that do proba on a Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
The big or the adult group does Wednesday nights. So you're free and you've come in. And what are you going to tell us about, guys?
Well, we have an open day on Wednesday night at 7 for the senior group. And we're just on here to kind of promote that and try and get a few new faces in.
So Mladi, I'll put it up on the screen as well, so it flashes across. So Folklorna Grupa Mladi Hrvati, open day this Wednesday.
Yeah.
At Clifton Hill, so everyone knows Clifton Hill, Sveti Nikola Tavelic, 69 Hodgkinson Street in Clifton Hill. So encouraging, and particularly, so not only, but in particular, more boys. Is that what we want? Yeah. We want more boys. Yes, Hrvatska Zora, you had 7 boys in that picture. We want more boys down at Clifton Hill as well, or more men, because this is the adult group. So boys becoming men at Clifton Hill.
But that's not to say girls aren't
exactly
invited as well.
Yeah, everyone is welcome.
Now, open day, so what, you kind of go through a few things. You'll maybe show them a dance or two and say, look, it's not that hard, or, you'll pick it up pretty easy if you're somewhat coordinated.
Yeah, well, we actually are performing this Sunday. So it's our last proba before. We have to lock in. And so, I don't know, it'll be kind of good for the new people to see kind of the process in action because, we're coming up to our performance. It's really going to show everyone what it's like.
There you go. So it's at 7 p.m.?
Yeah, 7, yeah.
There you go.
And what's the performance on Sunday?
We're performing for the Croatian school graduation lunch, I think. Yeah, at Clifton Hill.
At Clifton Hill as well.
Yeah.
That's all right, Clifton Hill as well. So there you go.
So
that's
very centrally located, easy for everyone to get into.
It is.
Close to town. Beautiful part of the world, Clifton Hill.
That's right.
Leafy streets.
Yeah.
Nice bars as well.
Nice bars.
Yeah, the Clifton Hill pub when you used to go during Pornochka while your parents thought you were upstairs.
Allegedly. Allegedly go to the pub.
But how long have you guys been at Mladi Hrvati? So Jess, how long have you been there?
Well, I've been dancing since I was about 5. Oh. And I have had a bit of a hiatus, but I rejoined when I was 18 and been dancing for the past couple of years since then.
And Kristijan?
6 months now.
So you're a newbie?
Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you finding it? You loving it or what?
I love it. First session we started Lika and fell in love with it. Was getting pressured by the girls after CFAF Zabava saying, come. Went, loved it from the start. Haven't missed a session since.
Yeah. And what is it you love about it? What is it that draws you to it so much?
The people. Like, we danced at tournament. I went to from Gold Coast. Never expected to meet people that were like-minded young people. Being with the girls, a lot of fun. Like, we see each other all the time now.
Yeah.
It's good to meet more local people.
So you just thought you lived and grew up in a madhouse and that your family was insane, but then you met all the other people there and realised, all of them are the same.
And you two both your dads have very famous nicknames. Yeah, so one's Euro Dancer, and another one is Red Sox.
You can do it!
And the other one is Red Sox. So 2 famous nicknames, particularly around these northern parts of Melbourne, and they will no doubt be very, very proud, not only seeing you on the show, but everything you're doing with Mladi Hrvati and the community. And that's what we like to see. These are the future leaders of our community, right? And we see across the board, we've had Bianca Jovica in here from Hrvatska Zora. I've been following a couple of other people on Instagram. I've seen young Emil Spreitz at the Oktoberfest. For Oktoberfest, he was heavily involved in organising the bar staff and all those sorts of things. These are the young people that are now coming through that are next generation that will take over eventually the running of these clubs when we get too old or just too lazy to do it anymore. But we've got here Oliver Ravlic from Perth, Christian Pericic, my favourite boxer. Christian, great name. That's exactly right.
It is a great name, by the way.
There you go. No, exactly. And the Pericic family, obviously from, I can't mention names because we've got to do shots, from Sukošan, next to another very famous seller that many of you may or may not have heard of, who had a 2-1 win away to Škabrnja. I think I've just switched it off here.
Oh, I'm just.
I think
Oh, have you got a picture of it? Do you?
Oh no, it's still going.
Oh no.
I just thought I switched it off. But
and so after your hiatus, what drew you back to it? Was it you miss dancing and other things?
Well, I became close with one of the girls who dance, and she kind of, enticed me back in. And I was like, you know what? I will go 1 week, give it a go, like, see what's been going on all these years that I've been gone. And yeah, I just went that first week, and I've been going ever since. I've now, after meeting her, I've become closer with so many of the other girls and guys, like in our group. And yeah, I don't know, the sense of community is just really, really nice. I just know every Wednesday when I go, it's just like a big hangout.
I saw one of your performances a couple of Sundays ago at the Grilled restaurant in Northland. When I walked past to the PodroomTV ale chant. So it was 2 tables just full of our youth. It was fantastic to see, on just a Sunday after the Canberra-Preston, the Canberra-Croatian-Preston game. They all got together. They all came back to, for most people in the West, they go to High Point or Water Gardens. We go to Northland or whatever it might be, and they're all together. And we've even got here Christian Pericic, super fan, Veliki Pozdrav. I reckon I know who that is, but I'm not going to mention his name.
There's Eurodance.
There is. He goes,
you can do it. There you go.
I just saw a comment here from Julia Hrvojevic saying dance groups are a great way to meet girls. I'll let Gordana know that you said that. And so just when you're not at home, she knows what you're doing.
Because apparently George is going to the open day on Wednesday. Chris Malik from Zagreb saying, keep up the good work, guys. If it gets me up this early in the morning, it must be good. And he's been toing and froing, and Marko Samadžić, our friend, has been.
This morning, what time is it over there, Pordne?
Just woke up. But Marko's been messaging also from Vukovar during the course of the show. There you go. Great way to meet girls, as George said. Christian is very popular with all the girls at Mladi Hrvati. Who's going to come and take the spotlight from him? Rose Smolik asks. Well, I'd go, but my knee's a bit funny, But I'll definitely, at your age, I remember when I was younger, who's going to go dancing and folklore, and they wear dresses and shit. I was the most jealous bloke by the end of it. By the time these guys are 18, like I've said a million times, under that staircase at Clifton Hill, or they're all married. There's how many? Someone was meant to give us a list of people that are married still from Mladi Hrvati at Clifton Hill. Rose was going to give it to us. Anton and Lily Strnak. We've got the Yukas. There's got to be more. So there is a whole tradition, a legacy of couples that have finished. It's not all about you're going there to meet people. It's culture. You're learning the language. You're learning to sing, dance, do all of these things. You're involved, and you're keeping our heritage alive into the next generation, because we are now our second, third generation Australian Croats. It's not easy to preserve what we have. It's been hard up until now. It's only going to get harder. But with young people like Jess and Christian and all the others that we've had on the show and that watch this show, I think our community is in very, very good hands.
Sure, the Orsliches got together there.
The Orsliches as well. That's right.
Ivakovic's got together there. There's plenty. So
if I run out of luck with the missus,
you can always venture on down the 69 Hodgkinson Street.
We'll start a new tradition. Everyone, the new divorcees can go to join the dancing group and maybe meet someone. But any
the
finishing
divorcee of their dreams.
That's right. We can do the horizontals, the tanats. But so Wednesday, 7:00, come down. You'll see the final rehearsal before their big gig on Sunday. So you'll see sort of what it takes to be a part of it. And don't be intimidated because, look, probably from the get-go, it'll look very, very hard to do and the steps and remembering all these things and the words and the songs. But Christian, perfect example, 6 months in, I watched him in Gold Coast up there doing the Lichka. It was absolutely amazing what these kids did. You can find it on my socials and probably on the Tawny page as well, what these kids can do in a very short amount of time. Get involved, start learning, and then become pretty bloody good at what they do. And that's fantastic. So, guys.
Well, one thing as well that draws people to these things, they actually go on tours and they go on trips and things like that. Do you have any upcoming trips organised?
Well, we do go kind of on a yearly trip. So this year it was to Gold Coast for
Okay.
Tawny. Last year we did Adelaide. And we're also kind of exploring a Croatia trip somewhere in the near future.
Ooh, if that doesn't then get you thinking about
Yeah.
joining, because our kids went in 2019 on the trip of Croatia. It was a trip of a lifetime. We did Vukovar, we did Đakovačke vezove, like most groups that have been there. Now Perth has done it, Zora's been there. We did, it was amazing. Yeah, so it was an all-inclusive type 10, 12-day tour, and then you go and do your own thing. Obviously, it's a European holiday after that. But it's, if you're thinking of going overseas and getting involved, you'll see some things that you probably might not get around to seeing if you're just going there for a bit of a binge drink at Zrče. So get involved. So end of season trips, that's always good. So get involved, get down there, 7 o'clock Wednesday night, Clifton Hill, park in the car park, go to the Sala, which is renovated with money that was gotten by Mladi Hrvati from the government to fund the renovation of that Sala. So it's top class, top notch. And no doubt, if you're old enough, afterwards you go out for a coffee or a bite of Macca's at Fairfield or whatever it might be, whatever you crazy kids get up to these days. You know, chasers, I don't know, whether on a Wednesday night, they're hard and fast. What was that called? Warehouse. But guys, thanks so much for coming in. Big shout out to both sets of your parents as well. They're no doubt watching, and you should be very proud, the Periciches and Dragicevic's, of these two fine young people who are keeping our tradition going. And thanks for coming in and having a chat with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Guys, all the best. Thanks very much. Did you just want a drink before you go? Are you all right?
No.
You can't? You're on your
We're
piece?
driving.
You're on your piece? See?
See.
Dame tu glavo.
Yeah. See, join these folklore groups and you can start joining yourself.
Joining.
Joining.
Even Teta Marina says, hi, Jessica.
Hi, Tataina.
No worries. Not easy to preserve the culture, but here we go. Just a couple of comments. Australia culture. Well done, Christian and Jess. Come on, Alan Tomic. So obviously, no worries. Thanks very much, guys, and all the very best. And thanks for coming in.
Good luck. All right, thank you.
This has got a VB stubby holder for a VB stubby. They're just, you know.
Right. It's not false advertising, is it?
That's right. But our next guest has been patiently waiting, but it is only 11:30 in the morning in Perth. So.
Speaking of dancing with the stars, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest ballroom dancer to have ever lived will be joining us.
I have
very
not
shortly.
I've not seen his two-step. Ali, from all reports,
mate,
on-field or off-field tactics are, Fred Astaire like.
He will give George Laker a run for his money.
And here he is, Alan Tomic, all the way over from Perth. Look at that, representing with the scarf. There's a bit of static, but can you hear us, mate?
Is that better now?
I can't not particularly hear you very well.
There's some sort of shishkanya going on.
How about that now?
That sounds a little bit better, I reckon, yeah.
Yeah, it keeps coming through a bit today, but I'm sitting in an office here at the training ground right now. Is that better?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So you got training for the big final.
That's what that's. You should get internet soon over there, I think.
Breaking out pretty badly. There we are.
Maybe try hanging out and coming on again. That's helped in the past.
Yeah, I'll re-answer again.
If that doesn't work, grab the laptop and throw it on the ground. Try that.
No worries. But while we're waiting for Al to come back, what we were talking about is, first and foremost, the semi-final. So the Football West World Cup, Croatia being represented, and they made it through to the semi-final, and they played against Australia. Full-time result 3-2, which means they go into the final. And when is that final? This Saturday. And of all days, not only are they taking on Serbia in the grand final on match day this Saturday, but it is the 29th of November that they will be playing at 5 p.m. Perth time at Proto DPS Stadium in Inglewood. Croatia v Serbia on the 29th of November. You couldn't have scripted it any better.
Well, I don't know. Not a good date for us. I don't know. So,
Maybe a big group hunt to start, and we
yeah.
go. But what a game it will line up to be. Last year they went close, Croatia, but this year hoping to go one step better. And what a better time to do it than in a game against our eastern neighbours.
Yes.
I guess we'd call them now, not they're neighbours. But I think Al's back, and we'll see how the audio is now. Then we'll just jump onto the camera angle. Now we've got you.
Hey boys, how are we?
There you
much
go.
better, mate.
Your head's still the same, but your voice is much better.
Yeah, and, I thought it was the reason I had a haircut. Too much reflections in here. I couldn't pick up an internet signal. That could be the case as well in WA.
But mate, big semi-final win. You're 3-0 up from what I understand. But actually, before we start, Alan Tomic, welcome to the show. Are you, from what I can see from the photos, you look like you're on the coaching staff?
Yep.
Are you the head coach?
Of the Team Croatia. And similar, a lot of the boys have rolled over from Tawny as well this year.
Somebody called you Pep Guardiola earlier.
And also the team chef.
The team chef.
Yeah, I don't get paid like him, but it's okay. I'll take that. Yep.
Are you the team dancer?
No, that's Lucy. I just stand there, as you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, okay,
Yeah.
she's the lead. Fair enough.
But so semi-final, 3-0 up, and then 3-2. Reading some of the social media, said, look, at the end it became a little bit of a, Guzica stisla a little bit, but you got there.
Yeah, no, look, it's come a long way. Look, at the same time, quarterfinal is we call it our redemption game. We the team that we lost to last year on penalties after being up 1-0, we played in the quarterfinal, and a lot of the similar guys we're playing against. Called the redemption game, pretty fired up for it. Come out, got a 2-1 win. That was not easy as well. There's some high quality players in this tournament. A lot of NPL players, 23s. The good thing about Team Croatia, they've all got connections to our club naturally in the last, call it 2 to 3 years. A couple of them went to Adelaide, Tawny, and also Gold Coast as well. But in saying that, made the semi-final, and it was quite weird because I'm not going to go into. I'll be as diplomatic as I can. It was when the draw happened for the sides of the draw, and I was going, how come technically Serbia finished second, Somalia finished first in the group, the other semi-final, and Croatia, Australia, we played each other in group one, or in the game one, we ended up playing each other in the semis. So whoever done the algorithm made sure that the two Balkan countries on the other side of the draws. But as it happened, it didn't work out for everyone like that. So that's why we're here of all days on November 29th this week for a final. But out of the semi-final, played Australia. They were a very organised team. We thought we we're going to be up against it as well, but we had to lift the boys a little bit. So we come up with something a little bit outside the box, and you'll be surprised how many non-Croatians know Croatian songs in this group, especially the ones that get them going. So a bit of a huddle at the start, and big G up from the captain, Luka Ravlic. I went around to all the boys and put the letter V on their wrist, and I gave the old, you got to play with velocity. You got to play with, be a bit vicious, and it'll lead to victory. But let's not forget Vukova. And then the boys done a bit of a song with spine tingling or focus, all switched on really quickly and come out and played probably the best half football all tournament. Up 3-0 at half time, and there was some signs there, but last couple of minutes, I'm screaming at the ref, it's 40 minutes, it's time. Then we score the 43rd minute. So anyway, I'll take that 3-0 running down the sidelines.
Referee.
Yeah, I'm losing it at him. I'm going, it's time. Because I could see they were coming back into it. And next thing you know, I'm running down the sidelines celebrating with our Matador, our Spanish striker up the top, who is, he actually bleeds red, white and blue for us now. And he came to the tourney with us as well. And he scored the third goal. But there were signs. And they come at us pretty hard. They came to a 3-3-4 almost. They were bombing down the wings, and we had to hold tight, digging our heels, and a bit of resilience shown, and we came through the goods. And of all people, after probably the best team in the tournament, we played after Somalia and Serbia. We had a bit of a laugh with the Somalians. We were sharing a change room with them, and we gave them a bit of a G up and a chant as they were leaving as well. Come on, Somalia, and they were all over them 1-0. Probably had 4 or 5 solid chances to go up. Apparently, from all report, we left at that point, and Serbia scored last minute 1 on pen. So, November 29th, Croatia plays Serbia in the final here at Inglewood So it's one of our main host teams that's got a lot of we call it remembrance in our community as well. That stadium as well. We've had a few things happen there in the past, and that's all in the history books. They're going to make a new bit of history on Saturday coming.
Yeah. And George Subjak from the Hrvatski Vjesnik is asking, can they stream the game?
I've been on to Football West. I've got one Mary Lutzman asking for that in Pakistan at the moment as well. So we're going to try and get the link and get the streamer set up. But we're doing everything we can to get the game streamed because it'll be at a really convenient time. 5 o'clock Perth will be peak time Melbourne, and a few people in Croatia we want to watch as well.
Yeah, there's a little bit of static coming through again, Al. Just Maloshushka again.
If you can maybe lower the quality on
the thing about, I don't know how you can do it, but lowering the resolution on the camera.
So maybe try lowering your own resolution. Like
I don't know how you do that. I don't know, you might know how to do it.
Okay, check that. There you go, that's getting good.
It'll be better. Now some things coming through. Someone's asking, is that aggro? Chris Martic. Another one saying, hello, nephew. Another one saying, Pip from Timu.
Yeah.
Right, this bloke is coaching Croatia to a World Cup final in Football West, mate. I don't know what you people are on, but we're hoping if there is a stream, flick it through to us anyway. We'll stick it on our socials and we'll get it out there as much as we possibly can so that we can tune in, because soccer for us basically this year is all over. Now the two Crow teams are out of the championship. No one watches it.
No.
But we'd love to see some footage of this game on Saturday night, 5 p.m. What would that be our time? About 8 p.m.?
What's on? 8
5 p.m. WA time.
3 hours.
3 hour difference. Now, I'm not sure if you've paused.
Expecting a big crowd over there.
His face is paused, so it's a good photo for your license.
Well, at least he's happy.
That's but jump off, jump back on. There you go.
Yeah, try doing that. But yeah, he seemed happy there.
That's right. While we're just quickly waiting, I've got a bit of footage as well that Al had on his socials. We'll just chuck that on now.
2, 3, 4. Doom tech, tech, doom tech, doom tech, tech, doom tech.
There you go. You can see some footage of the boys there doing us very, very proud all the way over there in Western Australia in the most positive of lights. We've got your back, Al.
Yeah, it's a bit crackly, but we'll see how we go. It's, one of those things.
We've got Marko Samaric from Vukovar asking, can we bet on the game?
I won't tell you the first prize is $5,000, but it is a Football West sanctioned event as well. So it's actually a prize money involved.
It'll be a good end of season trip for the boys as well, and get the silverware.
Straight to New Year's for Major Minor, either way.
Now that's a big one that's coming. A lot of people talking about it. I've got my boss at work was talking about it this morning. Looking forward to getting up there for New Year's. So the North Frio Dom going to be absolutely massive. Major Minor there. A lot of Easterners coming across as well to join the festivities. But you're looking forward to it, mate, as well as the community.
Yeah,
buzz around the place.
Nice to catch up with the boys. We're just starting pre-season tonight here with the under-18s at nights, and I was just talking to Stan. He's due any minute. He's picking up my son at the moment, heading down for training as we speak, and we're all buzzing for it naturally.
And speaking of your son, were you in Vukovar last year with the Aussie Crow select team that went over there to play in the Memorialni?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was called.
They've done a 5-day turnaround trip. Yeah, went there, got in on Wednesday and left on a Monday, and it was sensational. It was a wonderful experience for the boys, and I, urge everyone out there to listening as well to get on the EOIs with the HNS, and he's saying you will not regret if selected. Yeah, no, it's a great experience, not only football-wise, but culturally as well. You would have, from what I heard, I was with George today, actually, Dragovic. They do the tour of the hospital and Ovčara and all of those significant landmarks in our most recent history. And these boys at that age, I think they can really soak it in. The younger 100%. Ones were there in 2019. The younger ones, maybe not so much. The older ones, 14, 15, 16, they really get a feel of,
It
It's
wasn't
quite
just
interesting. Quite interesting. We had even, obviously getting back to what I was talking about as well. We're speaking about it with the other boys in our team, in the World Cup team, and we're trying to explain the significance to them. And there was a few of them asking questions naturally in there because obviously they're wearing a V on their wrist and we're wondering why. And I said, the significance of that town and what we stand for, right? And a lot of things I ended up going twice in the last 12 months to Vukovar. Sorry, 18 months. I went with the folklore group with Zagreb as well the year before. And got to go again with the Vukovar select team as well. So it's sunk in a hell of a lot more the second time round. And it really, obviously it was middle of summer versus, just after Easter. It's worlds apart regards to the number of people in town.
Yeah, yep. No, there you go. But
I forgot to ask before, you expecting a big crowd this weekend for the
Yeah,
game?
it's quite interesting. We've got a couple of events on that's got some. We've got 21st on. There's a few things on that are in the community, but I'm pretty sure we'll get a pretty good showing. Obviously, naturally with the opponent, but at the same time, we've had decent crowds. But it's not just call it your normal end of season tournament. Obviously, it is sanctioned by Football West, and there's actually a lot of clubs out there still trying to recruit players in Div 1 land and even topping up rosters in MPL. So there's naturally a good interest in it as well. And it's high quality football. So 5 o'clock's a bit earlier than expected. The original was going to be 6:15. So we're pretty excited about that because it still doesn't affect your Saturday night as such. So you can get it done. It's 40-minute halves straight into leading the Saturday night. And I think majority of us will be celebrating well and truly into the nights for sometime next week if we do come home with it on Saturday. Actually, no, when we do come home with it on Saturday.
You can play games at midday or at 8:30 in the morning like the Australian Championship does for semi-finals.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
But you mentioned Luka Ravlic as the captain.
Yep.
His brother Oliver has been very, very thorough in sending through results, clips, images, etc. So every week when I put something up, it's pretty much been young Ollie there sending it through. So his brother is the captain as well.
And they're the bit of glue that holds this whole team together. Ollie, team manager, played in Adelaide with us, and Luka did for the first time. Then they organised the team. They've done all the work, the legwork for that. They've done all the legwork for last year's tournament as well. Basically, I was just like the last thing going, can you coach us? I said, yeah, no worries. Got us to the semi-final. This year again for Gold Coast, they're the glue that holds that all together. They're both part of the committee at Western Knights as well. But now, obviously, Luka's still playing. Ollie's team manager. It's quite imposing having a 6'4" CDM with a whole heap of mosquitoes that work really hard around him. Yeah. And he does a job, right? And his leadership is definitely the part that is his strength. And he's, like I said, he's our big shoulders. He carries us through, and he's definitely the glue that holds his team together.
Two very fantastic young men. I met them up at Gold Coast, and you can see here they were the ones that gave me the scarf when I ended up on, funnily enough, one of another Petric's shoulders, I think, in one of those photos. And their beautiful mum, Vesna, as well, came over and said, the boys make it. I go, yeah, they make it. She goes, they make me watch it every Monday. They sit me in the lounge room. I go, a lot of people say they're forced to watch it, but I reckon it's quietly. We love it. But, great boys, great family. Fantastic. Like I said, if they're the glue that are holding it together, then that's some pretty good bloody glue. And I reckon you're looking good for Saturday to let's hope you get the silverware, $5,000 at the bar at the Dom on New Year's Eve. Slap a couple of greenbacks into Stan's squeeze box. If he's on there, he might get up and play a couple of tunes. Why not?
Yeah, exactly right. So no, we're buzzing for it. It'll be a huge event, and obviously to all the West Australians watching and all that, we'll hopefully get a big crowd and get the result for us because we're I say it's well and truly earned. It's been an absolute. It's hard in the off season, and it's actually thankfully not too warm yet. We're due for 30 degrees on Saturday, but at the same time, the boys they train consistently. They train on Tuesday nights and back up on the Saturday, and they're all in on it, and it's 100% serious.
That's fantastic, mate. But like I said, if you get the stream, flick through the link. We'll get it out there. We'll flick it over to George Subjak at the Viesnik. He'll put it on their socials as well. Yeah. We'll try and get it out there far and wide. We'll be cheering for you, boys. And no doubt, if you do win, Spolge will bring back all the information from New Year's and let us know how the celebrations went. So delay the celebration. Yeah, all right, go out on Saturday night. If you do win, let's not try and jinx it. If you do win, go have a few drinks, but save yourselves for New Year's and
that's assuming that I'll remember what actually happened on the night and going by past performances and over there in Perth. That's not guaranteed.
Yep. It all comes with WA wait a while, so we'll delay the celebration. Be well worth it on New Year's. Don't you worry about that.
No dramas, mate. Tell Ray Petrovich I'll ring him back. I couldn't answer the phone today, but I'll give him a buzz back later. He called me earlier this afternoon as well.
I had a few messages I posted up today for you guys. So well loved here, and absolutely. So thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight, and it's up to the boys as well. But we'll do everything we can to get them up and about and ready to go and hit the ground running hard.
Jesse Lazaro saying Alan the GOAT. So we've gone from Timu Pep Guardiola to Alan the GOAT.
Pretty good when you cut it.
Positive, Alan. Looking forward to seeing you all soon. George Kravojevic from Major Minor.
Very good, Georgie.
So it'll be absolutely fantastic with Stan reuniting with the boys as well. No
Beautiful.
doubt. It'll be fantastic.
Oh,
But
it is our homecoming when we go over there with so many wonderful friends, so many great people. Wishing you all the very best for Saturday and the win, because it couldn't happen to a better community and a better Narod. You know, you guys are brilliant, and can't wait to see you all as well.
Rob, likewise. Well, I'll catch up with you soon, maybe in January as well. I'll be heading over to Melbourne, but thank you very much again. And Živio Croatia. Let's go again.
Absolutely.
That's it, mate. Wishing you all the best, and let's go, boys.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Alan Tomic there from Perth, hoping to lead the Croatian team out to a victory against Serbia in the Football West World Cup. So they made the final last year and lost to Australia. This time they've beaten Australia in the semi-final, playing Serbia in the final. 5 o'clock, Inglewood. Be there. Yeah, Proto DPS Stadium in Inglewood. I've got no idea where Inglewood is. Ali, get there. It's a 5 p.m. kickoff their time. If we get links for a stream, potentially, if there is a stream, we'll get it out there. Hrvatski Vjesnik will share it. Everybody share it. Jump on. If you're in the Eastern Seaboard, it's 8 o'clock our time, 8 p.m. If you're not doing much, chuck it on if it's on. If not, we'll no doubt, hopefully later that evening, know the result.
A very
of
cool
that particular
kit too, isn't it?
Oh, it's a great kit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is a great kit, but where is that little hike they've gone? You can see there, match day, 29 November, Saturday. So instead of throwing bricks at party goers at at a town hall somewhere in the southeastern suburbs, make your way down to the soccer, enjoy a roll and a beer in good spirit, obviously, as we are a good-spirited people.
We are.
Law-abiding, God-fearing.
We are.
And we'll be there for football. We'll be there for a celebration of our Narod and get down there. If you are in or around the Inglewood area or can get there, why not enjoy, watch the boys do their very best. Led out onto the field by young Luka Ravlic, who is an absolute role model for any of those young Crows that are out there in the West, and his brother Oliver, obviously, and led by Alan, the Atomic Bomb. He's been given all sorts of nicknames. Atomic Best. Who's saying this one? Let's have a look. Who we got here? S. Woods, Atomic Best. Alan, the Atomic Bomb. Chris G. Christian Pericic, superfan, is also quite fond of the Ravlic brothers.
They're quite fond of one another.
Oh,
isn't it?
Well, there you go. They would have all met each other up there at Gold Coast as well. And yeah, what a lovely family. And Al and everybody over there. We've mentioned Ray Petrovich, we've mentioned Stan Panic, we've mentioned a whole lot of people. But there you go.
Stephen Lakota
says he was surfing the internet the other day. Number 42 for Zrinski Mostar stood out to me. Who is number 40? I'm assuming he's Likota.
I'm assuming so as well.
Or a public prosecutor.
Well, speaking of soccer and Zrinski Mostar and other clubs, Hajduk are doing Hajduk things again, losing 5-0 to struggling Rijeka.
I didn't want to talk about that. It's me, but I just deleted his comment from earlier. Because when he said you're not talking about the HNL, well, we can talk about the Prva županijska liga Zadarska.
I'm happy to talk about that. From where? Which team were we talking about?
No, we won't mention teams. Just that we've moved now where we've solidified second place behind Abeceda Sport from Murvica, who had a draw. It was their first dropping of points this season. And my team, where I'm a famous alumni team of the century member Hall of Fame. I can't remember
what it's called, though.
Oh, it was a long time ago, so are now well and truly in second place. Teams like Garlovac and Sabunya, Privlak, and that all sort of cellar dwellers, and pretty much, it's how it was when I played there, because I used to absolutely bury those teams for fun.
I buried those cockroaches.
For fun. And our good friend Marko Samaric, 6th of December, Dinamo Hajduk. Geez, that's not far away, is it? That's a couple of weeks.
That's right.
So I don't know. Look, Hajduk, hopefully it was an abomination. You know, when you have those shit games and you get it out of the system and let's go. Because they've been quite consistent this year. They've been all right.
Yeah.
We're not too confident because Dinamo's always strong. They've got a lot of depth and all that sort of stuff. I'll leave 5-0 to the Eka. Maybe the Eka's back in business. Maybe they're showing
Look, maybe they are. And Hayduk's always more than capable of beating Dinamo, even that Maximi. So, you never know.
Here we go. No, Tony Chavar tells us. Number 42, Zrinski Mostard, is your wife's cousin, Marian Chavar.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't know many Chavars that are good footballers. Sorry, Mars, your prosciutto was fantastic. For a footballer, you make great kobasice.
Probably the most tasty in the land.
All right, so that looks like Christmas present sorted. Number 42 from the Zrinski fan shop. But if anyone wants, I'll download it for next week. But jump on. I reckon it's again. I don't want to. It's so good that I thought it was AI. Zrinski iznad svih or something like that. I think it is. It's a theme song, obviously, for Zrinski Mostar on YouTube. I've been listening to it at work. I've got a little speaker I carry around. I'm a little bit of a Yadnik in that regard, but I do walk around with a little speaker in my pocket and slušam because you can't wear headphones. Ali the Zrinski Mostar theme song, Iznad svih, I think it's called. If I can do some kind of a...
I always thought it was just that ponosna je moja zemlja.
Udar Z, Zrinski Iznad svih, official song video. Let's just see what I'll do. I'll pause it. See if I can share screen. I'm no good at this, but maybe I can share
Sounds
screen.
like the start of Michael Starter.
It does. Spol job, man. I want to break some news, but I can't. I want to break some news. We haven't confirmed anything, really, have we?
Is this regarding the question there from H2 Crow?
What's the question?
Final podcast for you? Is that
the final podcast?
He's asking, or she, or he, I don't know. When will your final podcast be for the year?
That's what we haven't...
Well, I think it's got to be the 22nd.
Oh, it is. So
well,
if we were to do a final show, it would be the 22nd.
I think so.
Whether it's confirmed or not.
Nothing's confirmed.
If it's confirmed, whether or not the people that we're thinking of having on the show
that.
Well,
he's just asking, when is the final podcast?
Well, the final podcast is going to be 3rd of December, I think. So next week, technically, was going to be really our last one, and that's it. The 22nd, if it happens, will be a Christmas party.
It was like a Christmas special, like when Happy Days would come on.
Exactly, like Bing Crosby and Dean Martin. And,
like Yossi Potsy Weber.
And Ralph Mel.
yeah. So we'll do like a Christmas. Do we come in and you put on like Christmas jumpers?
Yeah, the ugly jumpers and drink eggnog and shit.
Yeah. Do you even know what eggnog is?
Never bothered. But if it were to go, do you have any information of whether or not the people that we would like to have there are able to actually attend this event?
I'm pretty sure they are.
You're pretty sure they are?
I'm pretty sure they are.
All right, that's good now. The venue we still haven't bedded down.
No,
the venue was going to be here with improved acoustics. But there have been some discussions over the weekend about a potential other venue.
Yeah, because people just want an extravaganza.
People would like to attend. And unfortunately, in this podroom, other than Pete Cardum and his bass, not anyone else can fit. George was sitting over there. So it may well be, we will see, but we will let you all know on time. It may be at a neutral venue. Maybe. What I'm thinking of doing is actually transporting this bar on some kind of a trailer and taking it to this venue and getting some sort of a mrija thing at the back and hang a few of these paraphernalia. So it looks like we're in the podroom here.
Yeah, right.
But have some live music at the same time and a special guest from overseas for whom we will sing a special song.
Oh, that one?
Yes.
Ooh.
Should I let the cat out of the bag?
I sent him a message yesterday.
You did?
I was actually sharing those videos with him.
And did he respond?
He did. He said, bravo za narod I bravo za band. That's where you're at.
Should I mention who it is, just like I didn't mention my soccer club? Should I mention this person or?
Mention.
All right. If the show goes ahead on the 22nd, which will be Major Minor Unplugged, but in a much, much bigger venue and audience involved on the 22nd of December. It'll be a Monday night. Hopefully everybody's already on holidays and it's broken up for the year and you don't have to worry too much about waking up on the 23rd at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work. We will have a much improved audio version of our unplugged session that we had a couple of weeks ago. If it's at a neutral venue, then it's all fine. I won't be in the doghouse. because it's not going to be happening here and no one's going to complain. But we will also then be connecting live with Matko Jelavic, the singer of the original song Majko Stara from Split Festival 1988, I believe it is, has agreed to come on the show, do an interview with us, and I've said we will also sing you that song with a crowd, hopefully this time.
Hopefully.
Majko Stara, Aussie version, by Australian Croats for Matko Jelavic, because a lot of these kids, they know the song, but they think it's a major minor song.
Yeah, that's right.
They literally, there's nothing on the
Probably
screen.
not full screen. So
That's all right. I'll do the, but we'll get back to that one. Let's have a look if this works now. The Zrinski share. We'll chuck that on. Here we go. Have a listen to this banger, and then we'll come back to Matko Jelavic.
Pod svjetlima sve je jasno, srce lupa, ritam glasno, naš dres ja, publika diše, snaga raste, sve se piše. Na terenu borba čista, svaki pas iskra ista, kad krene pjesma s tribina, zna se tko nosi ta krila. Zrinski do kraja, srce i dlan, borba i vjera, isti plan, bijelo-crveni, uvijek prvi, Mostar diše, pobjednici krvni. Zrinski do kraja, gori grad, jedna ljubav, jedan sklad, kad se zbroje svi ti glasovi, Zrinski živi, to smo mi. Hej! To smo mi. Hej! Zrinski živi, to smo mi. Korak po korak, sve je ritam, naš stadion to je bitan. Svaki gol, srce skače, tribina pjeva, sve jače. Ruke gore, pjesma vodi, Zrinski živi u svakoj zgodi. U očima vatra sja, ovo je snaga što traje dan. Zrinski do kraja, srce i dlan, borba i vjera, isti plan. Bijelo-crveni, uvijek prvi, Mostar diše, pobjednici krvni. Zrinski do kraja, gori grad, jedna ljubav, jedan sklad, kad se zbroje svi ti glasovi, Zrinski živi, to smo mi. Podigni ruke, nek pjesma sja, Zrinski gori, nek svijet zna, naša snaga, naš ponos čist, Zrinski uvijek iznad svih. Daj! Iznad svih. Iznad svih. Zrinski do kraja, srce i dlan, borba i vjera, isti plan. Mostar diše, pobjednici krvni. Idemo po sve. Zrinski, Zrinski, Zrinski. Zrinski, Zrinski, Zrinski.
If I put my microphone on, that's an absolute banger, I reckon. Now, whether it's AI or not, I'm hoping it's not AI because the pronunciation of the words is fantastic. So if it's AI, they've found a bloody good program to do it. But
Like you said, it sounds like a Sum 41 song, and it really does.
it does some sort of that 2000 skate rock, punk, whatever you want to call it. But it's a bit of everything. It's bloody, I reckon it's a killer song anyway.
Zrinski doing us proud, on and off the park, aren't they? Zrinski are just where it's at the moment.
Zrinski Mostar is the Canberra, Croatia of Crow teams in Europe.
100%. That's exactly what they are.
Everyone expected them to get smacked, and they've come out and done the exact opposite.
Crowds are out. The crowds are fantastic. Atmosphere up.
Rock and track, killer song. No, it is. It's fantastic. But getting back to songs, and we had no slicker while we were talking about it because I'm excited.
Well, no, that could be good. I mean, we're even getting prizes there. Bought back a Festa pack as a prize there for the Christmas party, and they're all excited. Everyone was talking about the program at Festa. Want to come on. The New Adelaide Croatia Committee want to come on soon as well. So many people out there. Spoke to so many, people you wouldn't even expect.
No, that's the thing.
They're watching. It actually shocks me there. Some really great suggestions. and real passionate views. Like Marley was coming up to me, had some real passionate views, and I'll talk to you about those as well. Yeah, they just, for the program and just see, it was really encouraging to hear that,
And
that
people
love
are reaching out from about all sorts of things. So one, watching the show, go, gee, Ivan Tomic, played indoor with him, I've known him for a long time, gave us some tips about, I'll get to it, Ive, putting up what's called a comfort screen, because when we do an interview, we're looking down at the laptop, but the camera's over there. So I think what we do is we put a second screen sort of probably just to the left of the camera, and it's connected to the computer. So we're sort of looking at that screen as if we are talking directly to the person. So it's something I didn't know, and that's the sort of the information that we need, because now we're point, man.
Well, that's the whole thing. Yeah, we're supposed to do that. Sometimes I try and look over there, but I want to see what.
Same. I feel a bit. So, but if we've got a screen there, and let's say we're talking to Mariana, her face is on that screen, and we're looking at that face. And what they do on TV, when they stare straight at the camera, because they've got a screen reflecting back. So, thanks for all the feedback and everything else that you've sent through. But gifts, like I said, this is a gift. So from the Ravlik boys. That's a gift that Spolge had thrown onto his head in Adelaide.
Yeah, no, I saw that. That was that.
Sing to me from Jelena Čurić, Hrvat T-shirt and stickers. You saw everything they sent through, key rings and all sorts of things. Absolutely fantastic. We've received plenty of gifts. PodroomTV, the jerseys over there from Phil Jurić from the Warriors Cup. A whole lot of stuff. What else? We've got the Patka from the Hrvatski Lovci.
Yeah, amazing.
We've got, there's just bits and bob. The United Cup cornhole pennant. You might just see it out the corner of the screen. Absolutely bloody amazing.
Building up.
But for the Christmas party, we'd love a couple of bottles of Blue Label Premium Bar del Rakiel.
Here go in St Albans.
That's the shot.
But all those sort of things. And one actually good suggestion was there from in Adelaide was Marley was saying that given that so many of the younger viewers are there, they might think like everything's all, rosy and dandy over there in Croatia, but you've got to give them a political perspective and actually teach them about what's going on in the battles that our Narods have within our own homeland and stuff like that. And even they talk about current affairs that are over there, maybe bring that on as a segment, have special guests that, political analysts that can talk about that kind of stuff and educate us on some of those things. Like now with the Thompson concert in Zagreb and, the mayor of Zagreb, like Tomašević, who's come out and, is making a stance. So it sort of reminds you of the councils we have here in Australia that go beyond collecting rubbish and they start going to
geopolitics.
Exactly, geopolitics and climate change, meetings in Hong Kong to discuss what's happening in the city of Melbourne. It's just nonsensical. Now Tomašević is going beyond the city of Zagreb, and he wants to now battle and use the Croatian constitution as anyway, it's gone to absolutely nonsensical.
What time's at 9:20? I've been thinking about this joke all week. Now, I'm happy for anybody to find it online if it does already exist. Now, I reckon I've made this one up myself, right? But it's probably already been said before. That's the thing. I've never heard it before. I reckon it's my original. If you can find it elsewhere, it's like that. We'll give you a 5% discount. If you can find better, but if it's already been said, fair enough. I'll take it. But I've been thinking about one.
All right.
After last week's discussion about what were we talking about? I don't even know how we got on the subject. But back when I was younger and I was single, when I was single back in the
those
day,
dark days,
before I fell in love and got married and stuff.
Before you had someone to tell you what you do wrong in your life.
I went out with an individual, let's say, at the time. Yeah, went out on dates and and then very expensive dates. I took this person out to dinners and cinemas and bought expensive gifts, and we went on holidays together. And it cost me hundreds, even thousands of dollars.
Right.
And then look, that person was transgender. Right? I didn't know. I had 10, 15 dates. I spent a lot of money on this person. Yeah, on this transgender. I didn't realize whatever. I što sam dobio na kraju? Kurčina. So, boys, any news on Melbourne Knights signings for 2026? No idea.
Nothing. I know that they've started pre-season training. I think they're keeping it a bit hush at the moment because, see how it all goes. They got pretty much a full squad, from what I've heard. Maybe some room for 2 or 3 more stars kind of signings. That's what I've heard. That's all I know. Honestly, I don't know any names. I don't know anything.
And I think still with this championship, it's hard to sign. They've signed for the 8 weeks, and then they aren't. I don't know if they're free agents or what the hell's going on with that. transfer window for that championship and then coming back to MPL. Nezdam ni ja sam how that all works. Mark
just hope
Malik,
that all starts going well
Zrinski
there.
was a state-sponsored team back in the 1940s, and their heart. Rob Stalker, our good friend. Hi guys, can people follow my Instagram, pizzeria_3814? Our good friend and sponsor Rob, who was on the show when Major Minor was here, pizzeria_3814. He'd like to get to 1,000 followers, subscribers on the Instagram page. It all helps. All support helps, and it gets the name out there, and people that are around that Garfield area, get down, grab yourself a margarita or a capricciosa, and say hello to Robbie, who's a very good friend of his show and a very good Hrvatan member of our community.
I was just thinking about that joke that you just said about when on your younger days. I was going, you said that related to Tomašević, and I was going, that actually happened. But I suppose the things that are happening in Zagreb at the moment, it is all relatable, isn't it?
I feel like I bonded with Emmanuel Macron with that story.
Yes.
You know, with Barack Obama.
Yes.
I feel like a statesman.
Yes.
Because I went through the same thing that they did.
Yeah, you always got pushed off a plane.
Correct.
Pushed down the stairs and slapped in front of the world.
That's happened before. Don't worry about that. Maybe not in front of the world coming off Air Force One or whatever it is in France. Ali dobro je ispleskala.
Yeah.
She gave him a couple of Richie Pleskers.
Yeah. he certainly did.
Got it. This was Macron's wife when he got off the plane.
I think Richard made more sense there than what happened there on that plane. Oh, is Stocker making Chavapi pizza? Oh, I saw something this week on Instagram where a guy actually made, instead of putting a tomato base, I think it was Avar, put down some Chavapi on there, some feta seed, I think, some red onions, and
maybe I'd crepat if I even saw that.
Looked all right. I don't know.
I would pass out. If I saw that, I'd leg be.
No, it was out of it.
Nah. The Chavapi on a pizza.
Well,
that's like pineapple on a pizza. What's next? Rebra, grah on a fucking in a hot dog.
They'll be like tapče gravče, you know, where they got the masses, they got the tapče gravče where they got the clay pots, and and it sort of comes together. And they got like pepperoni on top. Imagine that on top of pizza, and then it comes together with some pepperoni.
I was talking about yesterday to somebody about going to grade 6 camp. I think it was grade 6 camp or whatever, and they served me shepherd's pie. I don't know what shepherd's pie was. I don't know what a casserole is, to be honest. Someone goes, it's like a goulash, but I got to ask once at some parents' meeting, can you please bring a casserole to the parents' function? I had to go, if I want to ring my mum, I go, Mama, что a casserole? And then she went on YouTube to find out what the fucking casserole is. Same goes, shepherd's pie.
In 1982.
Shepherd's pie. So it looked, I don't know, it was mashed potatoes and peas and shit in it, whatever. Now I don't mind eating it when I know that it's made out of it. This thing still was on the bowl, right? But it was still in the shape of the can that it came out of. So it was like fucking, and it just came out like this. It was mashed potato, peas, and some
beautiful
soft, Oh my God, my man nearly took me out of that school when I told him what I was fed. Shepherd's pie out of a can.
That was like when they asked us to bring a plate to school. So I went home and I brought a plate. I didn't know. That's
mate. Different, you know.
Oh, different times.
Dave
says many a truth are said in jest. That is correct.
Correct. That is very, very correct. But Spolge, like I say every week, we're here about 9:30. It's been a good run. We had 3 guests. We've had Mariana Ruden. We've had the kids from Mladi Hrvati, Jess and Christian. And we've had Alan Tomic all the way over from Perth. Plenty of chat coming through. We've released a little bit of information about what may well happen on the 22nd. So next week will be our 20th episode.
Wow.
That will be sort of the end of the regular season. We've made the playoffs, I think.
Yeah.
We've made it through to the playoffs. We've made the top 6. We've scraped in. Or maybe, look, we've still got next week to play.
Yeah, well, we do.
If next week doesn't go our way, we might drop out of the 6 early shower. Ali, if we make it through to the top 6, we may well be playing in a final on the 22nd of December. Band, neutral venue.
Yeah, could be.
Ljudi able to come.
Yeah.
Drinks and food available.
I think food supply.
Food provided.
Food provided.
Drinks at bar prices.
Yeah.
Major Minor Unplugged. Matko Jelavic tuning in from Split to speak with us about the song and about his career, obviously. So that, like I said, young kids, I was talking about it before, business. Young kids, they know that song, right?
Yeah.
My kids know it. They all sing it. They Nemo Poima, who sang that song.
Sure.
They think Spolge, George wrote the lyrics, Mick did the arrangement. And that's another joke I had. Oh, it's a cracker joke. This is a cracker. Because George, I've gone tangents again.
Yeah, that's right.
But Matko Jelavic would be fantastic to talk to him. A lot of us grew up listening to not only Mako Starter, but many of his other songs.
Yeah.
And for us then, for Major Minor to sing the song in the acoustic version, I got the rock version, unless you want to plug in and do a rock one as well. But doing the acoustic version with the backing of the crowd, singing Mako Starter, we'll somehow try and get the camera to pan around if we can all get it all hooked up so that he can see that that song, some 40 years later, is still resonating very, very heavily, might I say, in our community here in Australia. So we may be backward in terms of music, looking back at some of the iconic songs, but shit, man, we love that song amongst many others, Koshuga Plava and Stara Vremena and those sorts of songs. So I think even those people from Novi Fosili and that will be pretty rapt that we're still singing those songs where they may not be sung overseas, but shit, we love that song, Mako Starter, and he has agreed to come on the show and speak with us and hopefully stick around to hear the song.
We've made it. You get Mari on the Rudan on the show. You're getting Matko Jelavic on the show. I mean,
so how much for early bird tickets for the Christmas special?
For you, nothing.
Listen, what did Metallica tickets cost?
About $4,000.
All right, $200 front row. No. But that was when George Subjak was here, when he said he was once upon a time a singer for Major Minor.
Yes, he was. Yep.
And he had something to do with that tape that came out, the arrangement. Because then that means he would have been, as a singer-songwriter like Ed Sheeran, in Croatia is called a cantautor.
Yes.
So I can't, this can't be censored because it's a Croatian word. You can put it into the translator. Songwriter, so the one that sings, singer-songwriter, he sings and writes his own songs, like Taylor Swift or Ed Sheeran, is called a cantautor.
Yeah.
Just like Giboni, just like Hari Rončević. Yeah. I wanted to be a cantautor growing up, but I'm not much of an author. You saw that one coming?
I did see it coming. It was still good.
Thought of that one at work today.
Yeah.
When are we going to be back in 2026? Well, depends.
We don't even know what we're doing in 2024.
Depends on how the Christmas party goes. They might have to chisel it into a stone in Faulkner, I think, 2026.
I don't know. I've got a plane to catch on the 27th.
Now, has there been any possibility of being joined by a guest from the West that Monday night? Has there been any? I've asked his brother-in-law to reach out, and his sister, to reach out and see whether or not he would be able to join us.
Oh, I didn't even know. I don't know.
Maybe you
give him a call,
flick him a call, give him a buzz, shoot him an email, and say, "Listen, PodroomTV will cover the cost of the flight for him to make his way across the Nullarbor, join us on the night because we may not have one member of the band available that night." Is that right or not?
Well, no, I know he wasn't available the Saturday. I thought we were talking about doing it on the Saturday.
Oh, no.
The 22nd.
I think it's a Monday. We're still talking about Monday.
Yeah, we are talking Monday.
Still Monday.
So if he's about 2026, we don't do it.
So if he's not putting in contact lenses or taking out teeth of some bubba in Nor Lane, he'll be there on the Monday night. Yeah. A blind bubba comes in, he pulls a tooth out, she got her sight back here with her. What's it?
He was telling a story about some bloke who had cataracts. His eyes were fucked completely. And the guy's going, "Listen, mate, just give me some readers, mate. I'll be all right."
Get those
and pull out his zorb.
And by the way, it's like those. The handyman, he does everything. He's a dentist, an optometrist. He can take out ingrown toenails. He can still go triba. Mickey C says, "I know a few outdoors that are absolute." Yeah, there you go. And Johnny V11 liked one of those jokes. I'm not sure which one. That's all right. At least he liked something. Get Jovan Milicevic on for the Christmas special. What do you reckon?
I would love to.
Jovan Milicevic, we'll put that one down. That one's going in the bank.
Anyone that can get in touch with Ljubo, and get him one out of one of his photo shoots somewhere.
That's
He's got
right.
some time for us little people.
And if he isn't watering the peach tree in the backyard of his old man's joint, Jub Milicevic Christmas special.
Or marinating the lemon tree.
But we'll let you know some details as it all sort of comes to hand. But
I just got visions of pulling out
someone did chat with Rob over the weekend, and I did have some inclination that there may be an invitation to have this special at this particular venue, which I'm very fond of personally. And I think a lot of the people that tune into this show may well live relatively close, so an Uber ride or getting a lift won't be too hard. But just depends on how big we want to go. Now, what's this thing going to turn into? Will it be just a front bar where you've got 2 rows of people sitting there and canned applause?
Look,
or is it going to turn into some Corey Worthington Cheb empty? We're going to end up on the news.
I'd love chaos. Would love chaos.
We encourage.
we encourage
chaos.
I actually remember that, like at a tournament, we got told off. You guys get too far. You take the people, you get them rolled up, and that's when trouble gets caused. I go, that's my job. My job is to cause chaos.
That's right, and to get people rolled up. I do it every day.
That's right.
That's my job.
I do it really well.
That's it. That's what I was born to do.
Yeah. Did we get what's this one? Did we get a council permit to have this end of the year special show? Permit department is closed for the year.
That's all right. We've the Banyule City Council here won't allow us to have the function that we were hoping to have.
Yeah.
But
especially the mayor.
But I believe the Brimbank City Council has come to the party.
They have.
They've stepped in because this is like the Grand Prix.
Yeah, that's like
Adelaide, Jeanette, Victoria stepped in, they took it. Yeah. And it made this state billions of dollars. And that's what we're thinking this may well do.
I'm pretty sure South Australia didn't want to get rid of it. I'm pretty keen on keeping it.
Well, we didn't want to lose our submarines either.
Yeah, that's right.
But I was going to charge entry here, but now Rose, you're going to lose out on that entry, that gate of everyone that was going to come here. So it won't be taking place. I've made an executive decision. I was umming and ahhing before the show, but now I've made an executive decision. The PodroomTV Christmas special, 22 December, will not be taking place from the Podroom.
Okay.
There'll be a break. We're going to have a break from next Monday through to the 22nd so that we can prepare.
Yes.
We can get everything bedded down and make sure that everything is right. And we've got internet access and hard cabling and all that. So we've got people that are associated with this venue who are very tech savvy and will be able to get that all sorted for us.
Finally planning shit.
That's right. Cameras I've ordered, which should be coming in tomorrow, a cordless camera, one that you plug in the USB and the camera can be placed anywhere. It's got a 50-meter radius, whatever. If anyone's got good cameras that can be connected to a bloody laptop, whatever, be even better than this sticky-taped Logitech Brio, which you use for Zoom meetings when you're in a white-collar industry. So let's have a look. Let's have Dave Linkleton, like when we got kicked out of the soccer in Adelaide, Spolge. If that was a semi-final, I was also kicked out.
I was just thinking about that the other day.
Steve Shielich was first. I'm pretty sure Steve Silla was the first one out, and then we just followed. There was just a stream of people being escorted out.
No, it was me. When me and Dave went just to some round, we went to a West Adelaide game. And, got a bit over-exuberant, and they asked us to leave.
Peter Finker, do it at the Knight Stadium in front of 10,000. I don't know about that one. We'll see. Chaos Causa. Major minor allowed. Smolik is unfortunately banned. There you go.
Well,
so I'll be watching, guys. I'll be cheering you on from the lounge room. I'll be sending things through in the chat.
Yeah.
But look, I think it could be a pretty good night. We just need to figure out, like I said, we need to figure out the logistics of if it does go ahead, how does it go ahead? Where in this venue does it take place? How many people will be able to attend? Do we want a big one? Do we want a sort of intimate Elvis in Las Vegas, or do we want, Nirvana on MTV?
Wow. I just want chaos. I need chaos.
And we'll be wearing, so you can see their icon in the corner. I'll move it across to the other side. There you go. You can see Spolge in a leather jacket, a Major Minor t-shirt, and me in the split gear holding the VB. We're going to dress like that's what we're going to wear for the actual show. That's what we'll be actually wearing on the show.
No worries.
And
I'm not sure if that t-shirt I was wearing there fits anymore.
And I don't think those socks can. secret handshake on entry, Rose reckons.
Okay.
Yeah, I know every time I shake Duyo Tsirnatz's hand, we have a secret handshake, but usually it's from his side, not from mine. And hey, what's going on? So he loves the old handshake. But where is Mickey Cholina? Still stuck at Adelaide Airport. That's from Mark all the way in Vukovar. Marco's been watching. Chris Malik's also been watching, and Chris was very much instrumental in helping Marco get to Zagreb, to Bujica, and more than likely opened some doors in terms of Sedlat and everything else.
Have you got that video about those problems that we were having at the car rental place in Adelaide?
No. Which one?
I've got to find it. No, go on. What you say? I'll see if I can find it.
But when Marco does come back, I've been thinking about this one for a while. I think when Marco comes back, him and Tim Balaban hopefully will make their way into the Podrum. And then we'll also reach out and we'll get Chris on the show as well to chat with us. If you're up for it, Mr. Malic, to join us when Marco comes into the Podrum here, we'll reach out and we'll get a hold of you and we'll chat to you at the same time so we can bring both of those stories together. You, as a Branitelj, you're now head of the Foreign Volunteers Association over there in Crow, and Marco, son of a Branitelj, who hopefully they find sooner rather than later. Kata HR, what's she saying? Well done, Christian and Jess, for representing Mladi Hrvati tonight. Proud of you. Anyone watching, if you're interested in folklore, get in touch with FG, Mladi Hrvati, or any of the other folklore groups in your city or in your state. Marco definitely up for popping into the Podrum and chatting with Chris Malik as well. But if you find that one, we'll use it in our final domestic show for the year before we go on to our Christmas special, which will be our 21st episode for the year. Which I tell you what, man, 21 episodes, that's 21 weeks with some breaks in between. That's pretty much half the year we've gone, which, when it started, I go, we might do a couple of shows here or there. We'll see how it all goes. Ali, you know what? 21 odd episodes. We'll tell you when we'll be back in 2026, maybe on the 22nd, but we'll think about it. We'll have a decent break. Get down to the beach, surf, we all do, surf, fish, shoot bears and shit.
Yeah, all of those things. Yeah, all the time.
I can't
find it. I can't find it.
I do have the footage from Springvale Church where you bloody communist people.
That one.
I've got it. Yeah,
that's got to be. Yeah, that's got to. If you got that.
I don't know if I can show it. I've got it. No, it's been deleted many, many times on various platforms, but I've got it in my little archive there. There was people like you, communist people. And then Father Mate was trying to calm the crowd.
He was trying to calm
it easy.
To no avail.
People, take it easy. You communist people. But ljudi moji, I think.
But anyway, we'll end up being a rundown of the whole 2025 thing. You have special guests in there. We can have interviews with all sorts of people.
And we no doubt there'll be people amongst the crowd. There'll be some people. A lot of people been saying, "Can we come into the Podrum?" And they think this has got like 20 meters back, and it's a big, massive area. On photos, it looks relatively big, but it's deceptive. Also, can we get Mark Viduka?
Photography.
Yeah. Can we get Mark Viduka live from Crow on the Christmas special? We've been working on it. I've got a mate of mine who catches up with Dukes very, very often over there, and he was on the show earlier in the season, Paul Mugditch. He's doing his best, maybe trying to get Dukes or even Simo on there if we can, but I'll reach out to him. We've got what have we got now? Nearly a month until the 22nd. Or if anyone is quite close to Dukes or Simo or anyone else over there in Zagreb, that wouldn't mind jumping on the show for our Christmas special, it'd be absolutely fantastic. 8 o'clock our time is 12 o'clock midday their time, which will be bloody good to have them on. We've got Matko Jelovic. We'll try and get Ljubo Milicevic, and anyone else you got ideas, send them through. We'll try and get whoever we can on the show to make it a big one. And we'll no doubt have some discussions during the week. And I'll be at this place on Sunday. We can have some talks there, and we'll see what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and how we do the setup. And if that all works out, then let's have a festa, man. Let's have a party.
I think it'll be great. I think, it's deserving of it. We've got to finish off with a bang.
That's right.
Do it properly and do it with the people. I want to be with the people.
The narod.
I miss the narod. I like the narod.
We're ljudi iz naroda.
Yes,
Čovjek iz naroda, as Ivan Fabian said, yeah? Because we're from the people, for the people.
Yes, that's what it is. We're like the shepherd's pie.
Not for the communist people like you, the communist people. And then the village punch, the underarm Trevor Chappell, straight in the chin. You idiot. Oh, it's one of the greatest clips of all time. I'll ask the people that have provided me with that clip
It's burned in my memory.
whether or not it is able to be shown one day publicly again, because it'll probably get the fucking whole show will get taken down again if that gets shown that clip.
Really?
Maybe. Oh, yeah, it's quite controversial, apparently.
Oh, is it? I had no idea.
Tim Balaban is chatting to Ljubo Milicevic
as we speak.
So there you go.
Oh,
We
mate.
get big Ljubo tell us some stories about his time in Switzerland and even at Hajduk and Australia and everywhere else. There you go, mate. Ineka vidi. That's right. That's on Davey Mlikota, and no doubt Davey will make his way down to the show. He will be there.
Yes.
And everybody else that's enjoyed the show so far this season and are able to make it, we'll let you know. We're dragging it out a bit now, Ali. It will be. I'm excited, man. Because I'll tell you what, the footage from the Unplugged here did not do it justice.
No, it really didn't. No.
Nowhere near how good it sounded in here. Mate, I'll tell you what, I felt like it was the Norwood Symphony Orchestra in here. I felt like I was in fucking Lisinski. My heart was jumping out of my top. It sounded that bloody good. Yeah, it's a bass from Sisak found on Facebook Marketplace. Mickey's sitting on a box. Pinuk couldn't really play that well because he put 16 fillings in that. So his hands are a little bit of
covered in blood.
Yeah, you know. And George was right on the other side there, sort of away. He was like George Harrison over there. The sort
poor
of
guy, they had that mezza platter in front of him. And...
That's right. It was just trippe scene. So this time would have been a proper venue so that the music, the sound, everything can be appreciated.
And with people singing along.
And if you did 80 songs at the Festa in Adelaide, well, then you'll be doing about 100. That's here. So we'll get all the audio right. Everything will be tip top. We'll talk about everything else, the catering, how we're going to go about with food and drinks and all those sorts of things. And we're looking forward to a massive night. But join us next week. Again, we've got no idea who our guests will be next week. Poi manema.
We didn't even know who our guests were yesterday.
No. Rob got Mariana on.
Well, I was actually Stella did.
Stella, there you go. I've got
you.
a phone call this afternoon for the kids to come in. Al was about to text him and then or message him, and then he sent one and goes, happy to chat. Fantastic. And we've got a full show. Whereas this morning we're going, Malo, yeah. I didn't even do a reel yesterday because I didn't even know Mariana was coming on till later. So it was fantastic to have.
But do yourselves a favour, just like Molly used to say, go on to SBS On Demand, watch Unspoken, 21 minutes, watch it. You won't regret it.
That's right. And also there was one earlier. I might have skipped past it, but I'll get back to it now. Dear Otishlo. Let's have a look.
George reckons that Akia helped too on that night.
That Akia didn't help. Didn't help my relationship.
Didn't
help my mental health or my physical health. It helped absolutely nothing. But
yeah, a little bit like that.
Didn't help my liver. But it went down too easy. Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah. Now I'm scared. Either way, there was a link there, but subscribe to the Hrvatski Vjesnik. We gave away 2 subscriptions. I was going to email Jure Andrija today. Who sent it?
George Sabja.
Oh, he's got it.
Anonymous.
Anonymous has sent it. I've got that same clip. But Sticks Dirk has reached out today. I said, I need your details, but it is not, look, for me to do it on your behalf, it's a bit intrusive, right? So Jure Andrija, who also won, Jure Dragovic, who won, I'll reach out to you tomorrow. What I'll probably get you to do is subscribe, pay, and then I'll transfer the $102. Sticks Deeksy has said that no need. He's going to subscribe anyway. He wants to support the Vjesnik.
Perfect.
And that's $102 left in the kitty for PodroomTV. But subscribe, Hrvatski Vjesnik. You can do the digital. You can do the digital or physical. Get on board. You know what I mean? Even Chris Malik did pop up earlier. There is a link on the Vjesnik page now about an article, The Unending Search for Damjan Samardzic Veliki Bojler was his nickname over there in Vukovar, Justice for Vukovar. So jump on the Vjesnik. If you subscribe, no doubt you'll be able to see it. You may be able to see it. It might be one of the free ones. Either way, get a subscription. They are a big part of our history and our community here in Australia, and they are still doing great work and improving every single day. You know what I mean? It's after 40 years, they're getting better.
That's exactly
that shows you the caliber of people involved and the quality of journalists.
You know why they're getting better? Because they're using people that have knowledge and tapping into that whole thing. There's one thing that with Mariana, when we're talking about it, and I had it underlined, but felt a lot of good it did me because I didn't bring it up, was what was the key to success of that short film? And one thing that they all said was collaboration. The word collaboration, that they all worked together, tapped into one another's, knowledge and strengths and all of that. And I was going to say the same thing goes for our community, collaborating one another within committees or within clubs, going beyond the bickering and going beyond that. Our strength is in our collaboration, in the slogan that we've got all together.
Sharing ideas,
That's
sharing
the whole
successes, sharing failures, so that the next person doesn't make the same mistake,
That's right.
or the next person can succeed just like you've succeeded. That's the
right.
whole point.
That's right.
That's how it should be. If you did something well,
Yeah.
ask,
Yeah.
what did you do? Why is it working for you, but it might not be working for me?
Yeah.
Tell them.
Yeah.
Tell them. It's intellectual property, yes, but it's our narod.
Yeah.
We're sharing the same market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it can work for us, it can work for everyone. That's how we need to change our mindset too. Share information, share ideas, share success stories, even sometimes share receipts. How much did you buy on the
That's
weekend?
the
How many
whole thing.
Chavape rolls
Yeah.
did you sell? How much Meso did you buy? How many beers did you sell? Whatever. Well, here it is. Here's our printout. So, for next week, you're having a similar function. This is what we did. So you're not shortchanged or you're not overstocking. And that's how.
That's exactly that's an exactly proper point. That's because instead of trying to outdo each other, you actually work together and say, "Well, I love that. How you did that? How'd you do that?" Here,
There you go.
you get that information and you do improve on it.
And you do the same. And you might do it better next time.
Yeah.
And you
When
go back
people
to them,
ask
what?
nicely.
Yeah, next time you go, we did it. It actually made more or did better than what you did. This is what we did differently. Maybe you tweak it a little bit, but you take it on. It's pretty easy.
Goodwill, reaching out,
It's
being
pretty
friendly.
easy. Being a governor is hard.
Being good is hard. You know what? It's actually harder to be a prick than it is to be a good person.
Yeah.
Be good to each other. And you
That's
know what?
all.
You'll achieve wonderful things. Simple as that.
That's the shot. But ljudi moji, we'll see you next Monday.
Yeah.
Watch if you haven't caught it all, if you've already gone to bed, it's only 10 to 10, so it's a pretty early show.
Oh.
Once again, with three guests,
Okay.
lots of
What else
guests.
can we talk about? No, I'm joking.
Three lots of guests before 10 o'clock finish. Absolutely fantastic. Next week, we'll let you know who our guests are, hopefully on time. And then we'll have a bit of a break so we can prepare mentally.
Yeah.
I'm going to go into a cage where baseballs come out of me. I'm going to go, they hit me in the chest and shit.
Like
so
Happy Gilmore.
So that's just to get prepared. But we're going to do our best to transfer much or a portion, at least, of what we have here. The bar, and you can see here a new sign here, proudly independent. Where is the other side? I'm like the weather presenter that doesn't know what side the fucking city is. Look at that. PodroomTV, live and free, proudly independent. No strings attached. Bez lake na jeziku. We're here to listen. We're here to talk. And we're here, hopefully, on the 22nd to sing and sing bloody loud. And once again, have a big finale to the year and say thank you to all the people that have tuned in and watched. And
Only one agenda. Only agenda is do the best for our narod and for our people and make sure that we keep succeeding, that we keep building on the wonderful things that we've got.
There you go.
Only
Pizzeria 3814 will be closed for Christmas from the 22nd, I think, till the 22nd to 12th, till the 7th of January.
Oh, you did that on purpose. It was going to close on the 24th.
That's
When
right.
you heard about the Christmas
There
extravaganza, he's closing on that
Now
day.
you don't have to buy so many prawns and anchovies for your pizzas. You tight ass. You can serve mess all the way up to the 22nd.
Yep.
And then come to the party, Stalker. Come to the party, son.
Yep.
Wearing that Velimir Zayed's jersey, unwashed. I want to see that. Unwashed. Or De Silva. Which one was it? The Eduardo De Silva.
That one.
He smelled like a Brazilian that night, Stalker. No. Yeah. Oh, when my baby. All right, ljudi moji. Laku noć.
Okay, just leave that one.
Exactly right. See you all next week. Thanks for tuning in and keep your ear to the ground for information about the 22nd. We'll drip feed it slowly as we go, but I think we've given it all away already.
Yeah.
But the venue is the big one that you'd want to probably hear about so you can organise yourselves on time. But we'll get the information that we need from the venue to make sure that we know who or how many people we can invite to come along and how we're going to do it. Once that's all sorted, on the party time. Party time, I've got, I'm going to bring in the instrument. I'm bringing instruments too, man.
Between now and then, we'll collaborate with the other people and see what good ideas
We will
can come up with.
collaborate. I'm bringing my cajon, so me and Mickey can do a double bass.
Oof.
Double bass. And my new Fender acoustic guitar may well come. A Fender acoustic guitar. Or my mouth organ, probably. I reckon that's the easiest one to bring. Ljudi moji, laku noć. We'll see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in. Spolj.
Bog, lako noć.
Vidimo se, ljudi
Lijepi
moji.
pozdrav.
And here's another new tune for the outro, which I heard during the week and it brought back some good memories. So have a listen. I lako noć i vidimo se next week.
Satavana iz Bodruma, je rakija, ja me opila. Boli glava, are ja pogledaj karapege zanimljive, veseli se baja, on viče, daj mi viče. He was the king of the divan, je very dobar song. I am the king of the divan. Satavana iz Bodruma, je rakija.